to something new here in the Sim500 series, and that is, of course, us, the Captain Esports Network. Usually hear us on Sunday nights, and as of tonight here at Watkins, Glen International, virtually on iRacing, you now have us on Monday nights as we welcome you in to upstate New York. We're right here in the Finger Lakes region, right off Lake Seneca, as we get you ready for round number 21 of the Sim500 NC811 Cup Series. North Carolina 811, call before you dig. We appreciate those guys for, of course, being a sponsor of the series. But tonight, it's all about these Cup cars, the next-gen cars, as we go racing around this super speedway, if you will, of road courses, the 2.45-mile Watkins Glen International Raceway here in the Finger Lakes region. It's a region I've had the honor of being able to live in for a couple years, but if it's one you get a chance to visit, make sure you go up and do so. So welcome in, though, to Watkins Glen International Raceway. It is race number 21, as I mentioned, here in the NC811.com Cup Series. 50 laps tonight. There's 25 lap halfway, no cautions in the race this evening, so we are straightforward 50 laps of racing. It should be pretty entertaining. Of course, I am the captain, Chris Scala, with you. Not alone tonight. As I mentioned last night, kind of teased it, we're going to have somebody with me throughout the season here, the rest of the season, throughout these races to come, and it's a familiar voice that you've heard in the previous broadcast. We were able to bring him along with us, and that is the driver of the 00 over in the Xfinity series, but tonight he's up here in a suit and shorts. Yeah, so am I, in fairness. But that is John Mustian Jr., who joins us here. John, welcome in. First off, man, this is it's cool to have somebody with me. I'm not alone. I can actually shut up for a second and stop annoying people and let you talk.
Well, man, I'm glad to be here, Chris. Thank you so much. You've been doing an outstanding job Sunday nights, but I didn't realize you wore clothes. I thought those were optional tonight.
Well, you're here.
Okay, yeah. Hey, look, man, Watkins Glen, I know you've heard me say this a few times, I'm sure. I don't like road courses, but if I'm going to race a road course, it's going to be this one. If you're going to force me to turn these things right, it'll be here at Watkins Glen. Great track, a lot of history in this place, and I am really looking forward to sitting up here with you and calling this race tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun here. Of course, you see the track layout. It is 2.45 miles. Depending on which generation, as I was explaining to John, that you're from, this track either has 7 corners or it has 11 corners. The newer generation of drivers don't even count the bus stop as a corner. They call it the bus stop, where everything else is 1 through 7, where the old schoolers, we know it 1 through 11. Basically, which is interesting. But nonetheless, the traditional iRacing default weather, 78 degrees, 56% humidity, and so much more. Let's talk about the point standings here, because it's a little different if you're a regular watching the FEG Xfinity Series on Sunday nights. This is the standings that we have, and I got the top 30 involved here. Now, John, a little tricky here, because it is a win and in series, 1. 2, you got to have at least 16 starts as of tonight to be eligible for the playoffs. So that means there's actually 2 drivers in the top 21, if you will, or 22, if you will, that aren't eligible for the playoffs because they're not going to start enough races. So it's kind of tricky when you see it this way.
It is. And, you know, talking to you and Joey earlier tonight in the pre-production about this, I don't know how you call it. I don't know, the formula to figure out who's going where is like those word problems on the SATs.
Oh,
I went into instant flashback, and I had to go grab my pillow to go to my safe space, man. Just horrible math problems.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that failed the SAT with negative numbers.
Yeah.
Too bad. Yeah.
That's why they put me in the infantry in the Army, buddy. Okay, I'm just saying.
And we appreciate your service, by the way, on a side note there. So here's what we got. So with Byron Daly up there, 9th, he's out. And with Nelson Riviera, he's out. Okay, so you take those 2 drivers out, you move everybody up. So right now, the border is actually sitting at Mike Montesi. They're in the 20th position. Bobby Wetzel only 11 points back there in 21st. 20 cars will get into the playoffs come 2 weeks from now, after we wrap up from Daytona next Monday night. I about said Saturday night because I'm so used to Daytona being on Saturday nights. Monday night, we'll know who is in the playoffs and so on. Now, one driver that added to his win total last week with his second win at the Michigan Speedway was David Comstock. You see him sitting right there in the fifth position overall, of course, with the chase grid and things like that. Obviously, that's going to mix up a little bit, but David's going to join us here right now. Let's get him in here and have him join us. David, first off, welcome to Watkins, Glen. You've been up there at the top of the board until a certain Daniel individual made his appearance. But still, last week in Michigan, a huge win on that 2-mile track. I know I ran the iRacing NIS race there, and the right front tire took a beating in that race. So I can only imagine what you maybe were going through with the setups in that race. But how exciting was it to get you a win there at that 2-mile oval?
It was definitely exciting to get one, and that was one that, like I said last week, had to grab the bull by the balls on that one and go up there and get it. I thinking back on it, I had to call 811 before I dug on that restart there to get it. So
Wow.
definitely, yeah, it was preserving the right front, like what we told John last week. We thought it'd be a lot worse, but once you started driving with some sensibility with it, and everybody realized like what we were all in for, and if you could go and hot lap it, but you're not going to be up front hot lapping it the whole race. So it was definitely a right front tire management for the whole run, and then it turned to a fuel management deal halfway through there.
Yeah, like I said, I've always said you can drive in an all-electric car race at Michigan, and somehow it turns into a fuel mileage race. It's weird. So as we go into Watkins Glen here tonight, obviously you're up there at the top of the board. Obviously, a new car at this track. What are you feeling? I've been hearing the words grip. Actually, a lot of grip in these cars compared to those previous cars, which you had to almost ice skate up the S's in.
Yeah, definitely. It's got more of that sports car-y, like what we're used to, the other road courses and the other road cars we have on the service. It feels definitely more like kind of a truer road car in this car, and it feels way more planted, I guess, through the service updates of the next gen car that iRacing's done. Through when we were at Sonoma earlier in the year, it definitely didn't have like a lot of grip. It still felt very that icy feeling that the oval cars seem to always have on road courses. So here tonight, it feels definitely way more planted, way more secured, especially going through the S's. Gets a little tricky, at least the first right-hander on initial like low tire pressure and fuel load, because it kind of bottoms out the rear, so it almost wants to rear steer some because it's bottoming out, I guess, maybe the whole rear and like the inside, the right
on
rear.
The diffuser.
Possibly, yeah. So it's kind of rear steering the car and wants to get a little skatey initially, but that's just from low pressures and fuel loads. That should probably resolve itself. Like we had the similar issue or similar feel on an initial run on the tires coming out of pit road last week at Michigan. So the first few laps or so, once everything came with the pressures and the fuel load lightened a little bit, it settled. So I'm expecting that to resolve itself as we get through the fuel runs here tonight through turn 2. But they're braking this still. We're braking at the old braking points with like the old car. It's not the braking power the car should have. Bigger rotors, bigger rim. You should have bigger rotors and better stopping power. And so it's not comparable quite there yet. But overall, much more secured, and we should be able to put on a good show. Cold tires, this thing doesn't like cold tires, doesn't want to turn that well. The last car, it seemed like you needed that first lap was like your firing lap to get everything you can get, and then you're kind of hanging on from there once you kind of heated them up. So hopefully tonight we're able to put on a really good show with the product we have tonight.
Absolutely, man. Well, great job. Congratulations at Michigan. Go get yourself ready. You're going to be qualifying here in just a minute. So best of luck tonight, and hopefully we'll see I believe you're in a monster car again. Maybe we'll see it in Victory Lane.
Yeah, hopefully so. Monster Energy will be on the car tonight, and good luck to everybody out there and all my teammates at Team Name.
There you go. Good luck, buddy.
Thanks.
David Comstock joining us this evening. He was the winner at Michigan last week, and John, we're about to hit qualifying here, so I want to get, I believe he's in this race tonight. Is Randy Yoakum racing tonight, or is he just here? I don't see Yoakum's name on the list, but
he's there. He's down there in like the bottom half of the standings.
I was trying not to get to the hell. Yeah, there he is. He is in the race tonight. So before he qualifies, though, I want to bring Randy up here real quickly because Randy's a real big representative of the 811 crew, and of course we're going to be talking about that whole family throughout the race. But with Randy, he's real big into what 811 stands for. And Randy, I wanted to bring you up here and talk for a second because this is the first broadcast we've had with, in this case, the North Carolina 811 group. And for those who maybe have not heard of what the 811 number means and what it stands for and that kind of thing, talk a little bit about what the big deal is about 811 and how we can do, even if it's today, to start looking after the basically protecting our situation.
Yeah, Chris, first of all, I'd like to welcome you guys to the Sim500 Monday Night Series. It's an important series here for Sim500, and love that you guys are on board and the plans for the near future. So welcome, first of all, and always 811. It's a big deal. A lot of people just don't understand what 811 is all about, and the educational side of what it's all about is almost as important as what it protects. And it is absolutely a protection for, most importantly, life and limb. People don't know what's underground, and they have made plenty of mistakes when they start digging, having not contacted the 811 in their state. And unfortunately, some bad things have happened, but it does help to protect utilities that are underground and the people that may be digging near them. So it's one of the things that was near and dear with my heart for the length of time that I worked at municipal government, and probably a lot longer than I'd like to admit. But it was critical to our function, and it also helps. Along with all of that, it also helps to prevent interruptions in services and whatnot to all the utility customers that may be impacted. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Great song, and that totally makes sense because I can think how many times when I was younger and even to today where people are digging and oops, you hit a water line accidentally, or oops, you cut somebody's electric off, because there's some places where cable or electric water lines obviously all go through the ground, and it's something that we don't think of. We think we can just grab a shovel and start digging, and it just takes that one mistake.
Yeah, and when you consider a gas utility, an electric utility, and a lot of times when these are on site, they try not to run them very close to one another, but they in some cases cross. That can be a dangerous situation.
Right.
Either one alone can be bad, but you combine the two, and it can really get pretty volatile. So it's a very important thing.
Absolutely, man. Well, Randy, we appreciate your time. We'll go let you qualify if you decide to here, and we appreciate your time as always, man. And hopefully, all the best with the 811 team there, and maybe we'll talk to one of you guys in Victory Lane. Who knows?
I'm hoping it probably won't be me, but we never know about my teammate Tommy Ryan. He is somewhat of a wheel man on these road courses, so that is a distinct possibility. But again, thanks for being the broadcast group that has come on board here. Looking for great things in the future.
Absolutely. Best of luck to you, Randy.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Randy Yoakum joining us as a representative of the 811 group that is the sponsor of the Cup Series here. As we're proud to be here. I know John Mustian Jr., he's here with me as tonight we get ready to go racing. Qualifying's underway, and I'm not seeing too much of a surprise up there at the top of the grid right now, as looks like Daniel Falkingham is a whole second faster than Bentley Glazier right now, 1:10.50. That's quick.
That is extremely quick here at Watkins Glen, and he really backed up. He almost got his practice time. He did a 10.4 in practice and was just a little, like maybe 2-3/100ths off there in qualifying. So no surprise, though. Like you said, it's Falkingham. This guy is like Superman here.
He not only here, I mean, plenty of tracks. I mean, if you've not watched the Xfinity series, the FEG Xfinity series on Sunday nights, and of course the trucks. Even he's ran there. I mean, this guy is borderline going pro at any minute. So
that's what he's trying to do. Yeah,
he's running the road to pro stuff right now. He is right there on the border. He's in the series that runs. I think it's every other Thursday night, and he is there on the border, on the cusp. And to be able to do that, you got to be on here all the time, and you got to be running laps and doing your thing. So Daniel, looking pretty good, and it looks like is going to win the Call Before You Dig pole award this evening with a 110.5. Now, I thought about this yesterday when I was, watching a little bit of the race and hearing the times that they were running here, and I'm like, I remember back in the day when the Cup cars were running like 74 to 75, 76 seconds around Watkins Glen. We're breaking the 70-second barrier almost right now with these cars, which is phenomenal.
And it's a car, Chris, when you stop and think about it, a lot of people had issues getting used to so far this season. So it's really impressive. And like you, I watched some of that race yesterday, and wow, that's all. I hope we have some of that action like that tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think we could. But it all starts with the guy who is on the pole tonight, and of course it is the No It's Below 811 Before You Dig pole award, and it goes to Daniel Falkingham. Daniel, what a lap that was! Exactly a second over Bentley Glazier. Can we expect more in the race tonight of potential dominance from the 39?
I hope so. I like road course racing. I love it so much. And, yeah, hopefully we can keep this thing where it belongs. Definitely didn't have the greatest time in Cuba, but at least we got the job done. So hopefully we can keep this in front for all 50 laps.
There you go. Well, great job tonight, man. I know you have got the league lead in points. You've got the most wins so far this season. So a lot of things possible tonight, but it's a pretty straightforward 50 laps here. So obviously, what do you expect? I mean, it's a car that a lot of people don't know on this track.
The tires don't seem to fall off, so we're probably going to be getting faster as the run goes. So that's going to be interesting to see. But we'll see all the stuff that happens. I'm looking forward to it.
Does that open up the strategy maybe? No tires, 2 tires, something like that on the pit stop?
Probably.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens, but I'm interested to see how it's going to turn out.
All right, my man. Well, great job tonight. Congratulations, and we'll see if we talk in about 50 laps.
I appreciate it, fellas. Y'all enjoy the show.
You too, buddy. That's Daniel Falkingham there, who wins the pole, the 811 Call Before You Dig pole award this evening. So let's take a look at the starting lineup as these guys roll off here for their first and only pace lap before they get the green flag around this track. As Daniel Falkingham, 110.501. He ends up on the pole. He actually, Glazier got it closer, 0.6 of a second from first to second, so they will be your top 2. There's your Michigan winner, David Comstock. He'll start alongside Josh Parker. Justin Mons, who looked pretty sporty in practice, he'll start 5th alongside Jose Gonzalez. Mike Kelly there in the 7th position at number 2 car. Jimmy Coleman right there on the bubble. He and Joey Jatina right now on the bubble and fighting it out right now as we get closer and closer to those playoffs. Joseph Grzelva, a young man who I've watched race for a few years now. I remember when he was a teenager racing, not so much anymore. He'll start next to Robert Frary, I believe is how that is pronounced there, in the 12th position. 13th, Tommy Ryan. That's inside row 7 alongside Mike Montesi. Let's see, row 15, Jose Medina, Funky Cole Medina. I hope I can get away with calling him that. And Joey Jatina there in the 16th position. Jeff Ryan, Glenn Campbell in row number 9, and I'll let John here go through the rest of the lineup.
Got Byron Daly coming here 19th. Did not take a time qualifying, he or anybody behind him right now. Got Chad Coleman there in 20th. Elliot Henderson, 21st. Coming in the 40 car, Charles Woods, 22nd. Scott Simley back there in 23rd. Doug Sigmund, 24th. Doug Roth, 25th. Ron Holyfield, 26th. Randy Yoakum in that 8 car. We talked to him pre-race there, looking for him to have a good run, 27th. Andrew Teft, 28th. John Fowler in 30 Monkey Racing's representative here tonight in 29th. Richard Beasley in 30th. Now, Richard's a previous winner here. Not at Watkins Glen. Not at Watkins, I'm sorry, I stand corrected. But he's the previous winner in the series.
Gotcha.
Had a couple of good runs for him there. Ed Burrell in 31st. 32nd goes to Bobby Wetzel. Eric Arnold back there. He's going to do a start and park. He's having some technical issues tonight. Just trying to keep himself in the top 20 there in points. He's going to be 33rd. Kevin England, 34th. And Brian Wortman, 35th.
There you go. That is your 35 starters. And we're going to do it a little different tonight as we bring the first broadcast to you here on the Captain Esports Network of the 811 Cup Series. We're actually going to kind of do what they did in real life yesterday. We're going to do it radio style, sort of, as we come to the Green Flag Cup racing on the Captain Esports Network. Already look like Comstock trying to go 3 wide down to turn 1. A couple of cars going wide, which there's plenty of room here to race, as it's going to be Falkingham, Comstock up to second, the 18 of Bentley Glazier. You got Mons there, fourth, single file up the hill through the S's. A very tricky section here as they head towards where I have John stationed here.
Coming off the S's here, coming down that long back stretch down here before you get to the inner loop. Falkingham out to nice lead there. You got Glazier. They're single file right now. Going to try and take it easy. I'm sure these guys are just through this first lap as we come to the inner loop. You still have Falkingham out front. We got a little bit of brake smoke back there in the back of the pack somewhere. Didn't quite see what it was coming down to the carousel now. Falkingham leading the way over Glazier, Comstock, Parker, and Mod, your top 5.
As they come out of the carousel, it is, as you mentioned, Comstock under attack, and Tyler Dalton got a little wide. That's the 54 car making a move inside. That's Jimmy Coleman up to the 9th spot as they head into the left-hander, which is either turn 6 or turn 10. Again, depending on what generation you grew up in, pretty much a little joke that we're running with here tonight. As we look at Byron Daly back here at the 14th position, making a pass on Jose Medina, but it looks like we're going to get lap 1 in, and a pretty clean lap is already 0.6 of a second as Comstock almost loses it through turn 1.
Well, he was in the process of making a pass. Maybe, I don't know. I didn't see it. I caught him in the tail end there, but he got really loose. Great catch, though. These cars, Chris, as you know, are very hard to catch when you get loose.
Yeah, they are very hard to catch. There's no side force on these cars. That's one big change that the next-gen car came with, is the fact that you will not see, as Jimmy Coleman making another move, going past Grijalva, or that's Jose Gonzalez in the 8th position. So Jimmy Coleman doing a pretty good job here early in the 54. But yeah, we mentioned this car has no side force. That was one of the things that they wanted to eliminate, was the whole side force, the whole, what do they call it? Basically the car lining up a certain way or another. They wanted to try to keep this car to where handling was such a big key. And they've done a great job of that. I mean, I've heard even in real life, these cars, as soon as they turn sideways, it's good luck trying to catch it. And
yeah, it's over with, yeah.
Yeah, so Eric Arnold, as you mentioned, he has come to the pits. It looks like Richard Beasley's maybe had an off-track issue. But otherwise, it's been fairly clean. I'm looking at the first battle here, and let's check it out. Going down to turn 1, Josh Parker in the 81 in the Maconi Setup Shop, number 49. That is Justin Mons. As they race their way up the hill, Mons up by about 0.3 of a second or so. You see Mike Kelly there in that 6th position as they come up through the S's. This is pretty much a drag race area towards the bus stop, which is a very tricky corner to get into.
Very tricky indeed. And, again, I don't like road course racing, but I have run here at Watkins Glen a lot. And this right here is where I get killed, the inner loop. I don't know what it is about this little section of the track, but you see Mons right there, out of shape, into the wall.
Yeah, Mons into the wall there. I think he hit that 3rd curve, which that 3rd and 4th curve, we talked to Tyler Dalton before the race. He talked about it a little bit. That curve is so tricky. It actually, he's done, hold on back there, a tank slapper. I think that was Grijalva that had that car sideways. Nice catch on his part. Coleman's going to go by him. Yeah, that corner, obviously, if you hit it wrong, you got to remember, the front end of the car, yes, it's in the air, but the back end has a diffuser now. So basically, the car is solid on the bottom. There's no more where you can look under and see like the drive shaft and all that stuff. It's almost like they've put a cover on the bottom to create downforce basically on these cars. And so if that car scrapes the curve, it can easily make it out of shape. The only curve really you want to mess with, it seems like on this track that I've seen so far in practice, is the turn 1 curve. So or the turn 1, I say turn 1, the first curve entering the bus stop, which is the right-hander, where you jump it to kind of set up that part. Is Glen Campbell, looks like he has had some issues off track. Looking for Glen on my, oh, he's down here, unfortunately, 33rd position, so he's actually coming to pit road for him.
Oh, he's got extensive damage. Left front looks like it might have been busted loose, and he is going to park it for the night, it looks like. He stopped at the end of pit road right here. Yeah, I think he's going to call it a night right there.
Yeah, you see Daly here inside the 26, Jose Gonzalez in the carousel as he's going to make that pass. You see Daly going all the way out to Elmira pretty much to make that pass. I say that jokingly because, I mean, the limits here on this track are, I mean, there almost aren't any until you get to the dirt that's left on some of these tracks, especially here at Watkins Glen. There's so much asphalt everywhere, especially off the track now. You can use it and take advantage of it. But you see already Daly up 11 spots in the first 4 laps of this race, which is amazing already in this start. So that, I think, a familiar paint scheme to you. I call it the Coors Light look-alike, if you will. But that's a paint scheme you're familiar with.
Yeah. Byron, we've been calling him the Silver Bullet all season just because he drove a silver race car with no sponsorship on it at all. So as a joke one day, I did this. I made a Coors Light sort of make-believe fictional version with just his name instead of Coors Light, and he loved it. So we slapped some decals on there for him, and off he went. And he's had a pretty good run in this car. Now, I think what happened to him in qualifying, Chris, was he had a little slip-up down in the bus stop, if I'm not mistaken. So he didn't qualify quite well, but we watched him in practice, and he was one of the top runners in practice. So let's keep our eyes on him tonight.
Yeah, as he comes up on the back of the 54 right now, Coleman, who's also moved up the field a little bit here after kind of falling back at the start. He's made 2 or 3 passes here the last couple laps, but Jimmy's just looking for a solid finish, because you got to remember tonight there's still the same point situation that you have that we're used to in the Xfinity Series on Sunday nights. You get the halfway bonus, lap 25, you get the 10-1 from first to 10th in points. But so far, been some pretty clean racing. Byron thought about maybe diving it in there, but thinks smart about it, knows to live another day. And that's also a little bit of a trick that I've learned in road racing you can do. You put your nose out there and you kind of make the other driver in front of you kind of peek over, and it makes them all of a sudden lose their mark, and then they can slide wide, and then it becomes an easy pass for position.
Absolutely, and as we watch these guys now coming out of the S's, going down that long stretch into the inner loop right here, or the bus stop, Dad's going to make that pass. I think Coleman's going to let him go right there, so move Daly now up another spot. My goodness, he's on a mission, it looks like.
He is on a mission right now, up, 12 positions now. His next spot will be Justin Mons there, who's about a second ahead in position. But Daniel Falkingham leads by 4.8 seconds over David Comstock, who, well, he's got another drink sitting behind him right now, as he's in the Monster Energy car, and right behind him is the Mountain Dew Chevrolet. That would be one heck of a mix.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Now, not that Mountain Dew had its own drink at one point, an amp. I don't think that's around anymore, but still, great battle here. Looks like for second, as they hit turn 1, you see the brake rotors starting to glow on these Chevrolets as they get through turn 1 to 90 degrees. They head up through the S's, through turn 2 and turn 3, and they drag race up towards the bus stop.
Great race. This is a great section also right here. Going through the S's is a great place to watch these cars come through. That's where you really see who's got a handle on this car and who doesn't, because you can very easily lose control coming up through the S's just about as easily as you can down here in the bus stop. And I'm not sure, but it looks like Glazer gained about 2 car lengths there on Comstock coming down to the bus stop. Down through the carousel, long right-hand sweeping turn. It looks slow, but folks, they're doing 90 miles an hour through here. Now coming back up to the gears, approaching almost 160 as Comstock way off track right there. I tell you what, Chris, that was interesting to watch.
Yeah, that's exactly part of it. And if you remember, this build didn't come out until I think it was late last year. So this track has been repaved for almost 10 years. Comstock, he downshifted, I think, early, goes drifting into turn 7. What a save!
I think Dave is making a mistake there. He's not drifting for sport here. He's racing the car.
He had to have downshifted too early. It's something you could do.
That's what it looked like, yeah.
One of the things here about this car that you hear about is how it drives a lot like an open wheel car. And when you think of an Indy car, one of an easy mistakes you can do in these kind of slow corners is downshift too quickly. And when you do that, it doesn't match up the gears of the rear, and it can spin the car out. And that, I think, is exactly what Comstock did. He downsifted too quick, probably down to second gear, and about spun the car around. But what a save it was. He is going to lose second, and unfortunately, Josh Parker is going to be right there behind him here. He's less than a second away.
That had to be breathtaking for Comstock, though. But man, and he really looked like he was drifting the car professionally there. I mean, that was outstanding to watch. But yeah, it cost him a spot, but more.
Hold on!
He's out of shape.
Wow! That is putting hands and feet on the wheel at one time. I got this.
Oh man, that was very reminiscent of some of the big wrecks we've seen here in the past. Remember that one with Gordon?
Yeah,
and I think,
Sam Hornish.
Yeah, Sam Hornish. That was horrible to watch, man. Remember that one with Dave
Blaine?
No, Dave Rudeman. Remember his?
Oh,
wreck
David
here?
Rudeman, turn 1, yeah, with David Reagan. Yes.
Oh, that was a hard one to watch too.
Yeah.
But man, I tell you what, Comstock's got his hands full. And what I was going to say there, as he got loose that second time, was he's really burning those tires up, Chris, by doing that.
Yeah, let's look at these replays. First, the four-wheel drift through turn 7. Right there, he catches it. He had that moment there, and then all the way down here where he loses the 3rd position to Josh Parker, as Randy Yoakum, I think, is having an adventure off track. I mean, that right there is a first-class tank slapper, as they call it. That is one that, I mean, he pretty much ran right up next to the guardrail when that thing was all over with. That's a pretty amazing save there.
He had to be thinking to himself, I'm going to die right here.
Well, I mean, you mentioned some of the wrecks there. You can also think, I think it was Ryan Newman that got into a wreck over in the area. It was him and I think it was Michael, at the time, Michael McDowell was driving for Levine, and I believe his car actually went upside down over in that area right there. But yeah, what action there so far from Comstock. And let's check back. I want to look back here. A little battle starting to happen here, and it involves one of the 811 family of drivers, as Tommy Ryan is, he was mentioned by Randy Yoakum as a wheelman. He's got that Miller Genuine drafted makeshift paint scheme, I guess we'll call it, or whatever. It's not really Miller Genuine Draft. It's an actual business on there with the Rusty Wallace paint scheme in that 77 car right in front of Tommy, who's got Chad Coleman there behind him, as this is a battle for the 12th position. This is all roughly, as I'm looking at timing and scoring here, about 23 seconds here behind the leader, but these three battling for the 11th position. It's Robert Freary, by the way, in that 77 car, but Tommy putting pressure on him.
Tommy put a lot of pressure on him. And by the way, we professional painters call that a callback paint scheme.
Yeah, that works. Throwback, callback, that works.
Yeah. Wow, look at this. Right up on the bumper here, going down through the bus stop, is Ryan on the back bumper of Freary there. And like Chris had said earlier, you want to hit that first bump as hard as you can. It kind of straightens you out going through that turn. I can't never do that though, Chris. Look, man, when I say I suck at road coursing, dude, I am really underselling it. You know, wow, look how far out the 3-car of Jeff Ryan there. Oh, I just realized that. Is that the 3-car?
No, in front of Tommy, that's the 77.
No, that's the Coleman. I saw Coleman back there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the camera. I'm playing with cameras over here, trying to get a good focus.
He's having fun over there with technology. We got some interesting technology, low budget broadcasting over here.
It's great.
But we're on board with Tommy. We should mention our cameras, as always, presented by TrackCams22.com. As you see at the onboard here, the cameras from onboard the car and inside the track. TrackCams22.com. They're on Facebook. They're in the iRacing forums, and they're also on the web at TrackCams22.com. The closest thing you'll find to real-life cameras here on board and even at the track, as we ride on board with Tommy Ryan. And David Comstock going off track again. Having issues over here in the bus stop. It looks like he's lost a spot to Byron Daly, who is the man on the move. Let's see what happened to Byron real quickly here. Looks like it was up here near the bus stop. See, here's the first mistake. You never go side by side into the bus stop unless you're Marcus Ambrose and Brad Keselowski 10 years ago. You do not go side by side into the bus stop there. It set up Comstock to just have a rough corner there. But the one thing I did notice, John, when we were on board with Tommy's car, is Tommy seemed to go straight over those last couple of curves in the bus stop, and it helped him out. You wonder maybe if the issue that's happening through the corners is them turning the wheel as they hit the bumps, or as they hit the rumble strips through the corners.
That could very well be it, Chris. That's a great pickup on that. As you know, these cars are super sensitive as far as steering input goes to begin with. And like you said, when you get that bottom part of the car, what do they call that? Skid plate, I think?
Yeah, I guess that's a good way of calling it. I think it's what's called an open wheel car is a skid plate. But
yeah. When the skid plate hits a curb, you're just basically lifting the car up off the tires, so you have no way to steer it. So when it comes back down, whatever way your front tires were pointing, that's where it's going to go.
Right, and plus if you're under gas, you see Mons here underneath Kelly looks like he's going to lose 2 spots here. Kelly's going to go lose to Mons and to the 54 Jimmy Coleman, both of them there through the carousel down the straightaway. You see the damage on the right side of that Marconi Setup Shop Chevrolet. Say that 3 times fast. And unfortunately, maybe hurting his car a little bit, but he's still rolling in the 6th position right now. So we got that battle going on here. I'm looking through the field here. Looks like that's one of the better battles. We got a couple of JGs battling out here. Jose Speedy Gonzalez and Joseph Grijalva.
You pick up on the funniest things, man. I didn't even catch that.
Don't ask where it comes from. Sometimes I say it and I look at it later and I'm like, what the heck did I just say?
Oh, that's a good pass right there, going down into one.
Yeah, I think Jose let him go by, but great pass by Grijalva.
And that's a smart thing to do at this stage of the race. I mean, we're only 13 laps into it. And speaking of being only 13 laps in, can you believe Falkingham's already got almost a 10-second lead over second place?
Yeah, he's definitely pulled away from Glazier, which we didn't expect anything less there. We're watching Glazier, 10.5 back, and then Parker right there, 12 back. But, you know, when I look at lap times, though, I'm watching that 06 car, Byron Daly. Right now, obviously, Falkingham's the only guy running 10s around the track, but when it comes to the next fastest car, you're seeing drivers running 11.6s, 11.5s. So right now, around this 2.45-mile track. So very interesting lap times being ran. 3 cars out of the race right now. Doug Sigmund, Glenn Campbell, Eric Arnold, Jeff Ryan just had some issues. Let's see if we can roll the beautiful bean footage and see what happened. Unfortunately for this 811 call before you dig. Number 3, Jeff might be feeling the same way you and I do about road courses.
I'm sure he is.
I mean, I enjoy them. I just am not good at them. I ran them all. Oh, look at it. He broke the toe link on the left rear. Yeah, that car, unfortunately, is going to be out.
You know, and I will say this about iRacing, and I'm sure you'll agree with me on this, Chris. Mm-hmm. They really hit a home run with modeling this car as realistic as they could, especially with the damage model. Yeah, they did. And obviously, this car got such an advanced release. Basically, it was released as soon as the car was basically shown to the world. Here comes iRacing with it, because they released it. And basically, we had this hybrid cup car for a little bit because they didn't know what kind of horsepower they were going to run. They didn't know anything about the car. So they put this car out there. And I remember that day it came out, I hosted a session at Dover, I think it was. And we're out there running almost wide open at 170 miles an hour, ripping laps around there, like 21 seconds. And the engine's just screaming at us down the straightaways. And I'm like, this ain't going to be what this car's like. Yeah, it was, you know, and I kept telling people not to get, because everybody was just really upset with iRacing about how bad that car originally was. And I'm like, guys, just keep in mind, they're just giving it to us because everybody's been screaming for it to begin with. It's not done. It's not a finish. Oh, wow, Falkingham, I don't know if you saw what he just did to the bus stop, but that would have wrecked anybody else.
Yeah, let's ride here with the 39. I mean, like I said, this guy is pretty much on his way to the Contender Series, which is the top 20 drivers that are not yet in the Coke Series. So, like I said, this 39 car, you're probably going to see eventually on Tuesday nights on iRacing, potentially in that Coca-Cola iRacing Series. So, he's definitely
he's got the talent for it, Chris. He really does. Oh, yeah.
And trust me, it takes a lot of time. I mean, I don't know Daniel personally, so I don't know what kind of job he has or anything like that, but when you get to the Coke Series and up to these bigger series, this becomes almost a full-time job for you.
It really does. And I know he lives up in Maine, I can tell you that.
Holy moly.
He's a Northeasterner.
He's got not much to do, I guess, during the week. Oh, hold on there. 77 got loose after he lost the spot to Tommy Ryan. So Freary falling back into the clutches now of the Chad Coleman mobile. I see those colors and I'm like Pedro Mojica. No, it's Chad Coleman.
Yeah. Oh wow, and right now Falkingham is trying to lap people. By the way, I don't know if you caught that, but he's definitely putting people a lap down now. Right now he's trying to get by Andrew Teft in the unmarked car. Are you seeing that too? There's no number on that car.
The unmarked car, a cop car, if you will.
Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure it wasn't just me.
Yeah, good by him. Go ahead.
It's crazy that he is, I mean, really just tearing through this field almost as fast as Daly is, you know. And like you touched on a minute ago, he's still turning, well, he was anyway, a minute and 10-second laps. I mean, he's been with traffic now for a couple laps, so his times have come off a little bit trying to negotiate through these guys. But still, it's just really impressive how fast he and Daly are right now. 15, 16, 17 laps into this race.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, we're coming up to complete lap 16 right now. Bentley Glazier's actually, hold on there, 21 heading way off. He locked him up there in the front end, and the 21, as you know, with our first broadcast, we're learning names and numbers here because some numbers are different from what I'm used to. It's Ed Burrell, same 21 in the Xfinity Series, but 16 laps in, Bentley Glazier's knocked off some 3 seconds off of Daniel's time, and I've been watching Byron Daly's actually been the fastest car on the track the last few laps, so 17 laps in, this is definitely getting very interesting, which puts us about 8 laps from the halfway point. This is what we're going to do real quick. We're going to step away. We're going to come back, and we'll get you to the halfway point here and give away some bonus points as it's, one of 2 races left to get bonus points to get you into the playoffs. But you're watching the 811 Call Before You Dig Cup Series from... Somebody just wrecked over there off the carousel. That's 127, Kevin England. Yeah. But no, you're watching the Cup Series here from the Sim500 on the Captain Esports Network.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on NC811.org or the NC811 app.
This is your chance to get behind the wheel. The opportunity to race just like the pros. From the grassroots levels, where we all got our start, to the most popular race cars on the planet. From the fairgrounds of Nashville to the high banks of Daytona, to tracks that will never be forgotten. Realistic driving, intense competition, all from the comfort of your own home. This is the ultimate motorsports simulation. This is iRacing.
All right, welcome back to the virtual Watkins Glen International Raceway. Watkins Glen, New York. It is round number 21 of this North Carolina 811 Call Before You Dig Cup Series as Daniel Falkingham has stretched back his lead to 9.2 seconds over Bentley Glazier. And seeing some issues potentially for Byron Daly. Did he have an off-track excursion here as he goes to make a pass on Josh Parker, I think that is. Goes over that first curve, goes over the second curve. Lap car in the way. Okay, he just Dale Earnhardt Riverside's the thing, and now he gets into Parker. Oh. Yikes.
And that is such a bad place, Chris, to have an accident like that, because that's a blind corner. As you come out of the bus stop, you can't see what's going on down there. And these guys are all coming up to speed, so wow. Thank goodness that didn't involve anybody else, and Daly and Parker are both able to continue on, and now Daly's got to do all that work over again to catch back up to Parker.
I see the lap cars, the 40. I mean, he pretty much Daled that thing, and if it wasn't for that little extra piece of road, he might have been okay.
I'll tell you what.
John Fowler was that 48 car, unfortunately, there. John didn't do anything. He's just trying to ride his own lane. As they say in road racing, it's your job to make the pass.
Yeah, and I bet John Fowler is wide awake now.
I think all 3 of them are.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know if you knew this or not, but we were talking about Ed Burrell earlier before the break. Ed, my hat's off to Ed Burrell. He is basically, he's fighting cancer. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Okay, no, I didn't.
And, yeah, he was out for a long time. He's a long-time Sim500 driver, but he had to take a break because of physical issues, of course, with his cancer battle. And they had a benefit race for him a while back, raised some good money for him to help pay some of those medical bills. But this is actually him driving now. He had a good kid, John Adams, driving for him for a while, the 21 car. But Ed's back in it now. But just want to give a shout out to Ed. Say, hey, man,
absolutely,
good to see you back on track, buddy.
From a man that lost his Parker on the back end of Comstock here for third. For a young man here who lost his father from cancer back in 2017. I'm one that shows my support for that, so definitely heads up there and keep fighting, Ed, and we glad to see you out here on the track. So good to see, and also good to see this battle here. This is basically when the incident between Daly and Parker happened. Comstock stuck through and said thank you both, and now they're all 3 fighting for it. About 20 seconds back here, completing lap 20 complete here, 21 laps on the board.
As we ride out the back window off the top of the roof cam there, looking back through the S's at his competition, Parker, and that was a really close call there, the first one with the bus stop issue, but you know, if you get close enough on somebody's bumper down that straightaway going into the bus stop, you can really loosen that car up.
We see the 81 getting loose right there, just over those bumps. So you can see a little bit of sparks from the what is called the diffuser, which is underneath the car, which also helps with downforce bottoming out as they drift wide. Should mention a couple pit stops happening. Mike Montesi. I keep calling him Mondesi because I think of Raul Mondesi, the baseball player.
Yeah.
From back in the day. So I thought that's how you said his last name, but it's actually Montesi. So it's going to take a little time for me to work that in. But yeah, he's on pit road right now here at lap number 20, which for those who are maybe outside the top 10 at this point of the race, what do you have to lose pitting here? You don't.
Nothing really. But, you know, Falkingham touched on it pre-race when you were talking to him there, that tire wear is not that big a deal. So really, maybe just getting in and getting that fuel, and the fuel load can actually help you as far as handling with the car, right? Like I think Dave said, once the tire, oh wow, look at how loose Daly was right there.
Yeah, right.
With the tires pressures coming up and the fuel load helps kind of balance that car out a little bit, so you're not going to lose anything. But at the same, we got another one that has fallen out. Ryan Howard has decided to call it a night. But yeah, you know, right now, and especially if you're in the back of the pack, you got nothing to lose, man. Get you some fresh rubber on there. Wow. Did you see that?
I did. Wow, it's a lot of racing. You can tell the tires are maybe wearing here. So you heard Daniel talk about not much tire fall off, but maybe some wear with the racing going on, how hard these guys are going. I mean, they're pushing off the track here. They're passing lap traffic. They're off-roading. They're doing everything right now to keep track position. It's some fierce racing, some of the hardest racing I've seen on a road course in a very long time. These guys are definitely putting a show on. These three here. This is all third, fourth, and fifth.
Yeah, and the thing is, but keep in mind also, Chris, those two cars that we just saw getting loose there, that of Daly and Parker, are also the ones we saw spin out back there in the carousel. And as you know, that really, heats up those tires. Oh, Parker.
Hold on. Oh, and Parker's going around. Oh, no, he saved it.
What a save.
Good grief.
You know, I've been saying this for a long time, Chris, and I don't know how long you've known the Sim500 group, but this, when you're driving with these guys, if you manage to finish a race in the top 15 with these guys, you have won a race basically, because you have some of the highest caliber drivers in iRacing in this group, and a lot of these guys are actual real life drivers as well. Yeah. And you know, we just saw a great example of that. That car was in a wreck.
He was gone.
It was crashing, and he saved it. And you know, he's also a former pro driver for Joe Gibbs in the esports. Oh goodness, who's that?
That's Parker again. That's the replay of turn one. Just now, as we should mention, Jose Gonzalez is on pit road. We're going to cover some of the pit stops, obviously, but we just, you see what happened? The car went left at first, and he overcorrected to the right, had to correct it. And again, this car has no side force, but, you know, he's like, hold my drink, I got this.
Definitely, man. That was some Dukes of Hazzard stuff right there. Back roads of Georgia, driving over the gravel right there.
I know about that right now, man. I'm living up here in this area, so I know all about that stuff right now. But Jose Gonzalez, he's made a pit stop here so far, so just taking a look at who's pitted so far. Gonzalez, Montesi, and then the rest of the cars are pretty much out of the race or had damage so far. So as we come 2 laps now from this halfway point, basically, if you haven't followed us much here on the Captain Esports Network, or the other networks that, of course, cover the Sim500, basically, when you get to the halfway point, bonus point. Oh, Montesi blows the bus stop.
And he's going to have to come to a complete stop.
Well, in iRacing, it'll be more of a pit slowdown.
Oh, that's right. You're right. I apologize. I spent a lot of time watching yesterday's race.
Hey, it's totally understandable. But no, in this series, when you get to halfway, the top 10 gets bonus points from 10 to 1, kind of like stage racing in NASCAR. So basically, like Daniel Falkingham and Glazier and Comstock right now, as these guys cross the line at lap number 25, as we'll follow Daniel here on this lap up through the S's. The bonus points help when it comes to the playoffs.
It's amazing how far ahead he is right now of Glazier and those guys. But yeah, bonus points are a big deal, but really not so much for Falkingham, because he's just been so dominant this season. He could literally park the car right now and still have a, oh wow.
Ooh, well, easy.
You saw that, right? But yeah, he could park the car right now and just still have the lead as far as the points go, but he won't do that. This kid loves to win, man.
Let me remind you of something, because you're one who races in that series, the Xfinity series.
Oh, don't even talk about it. Don't. Please don't say it.
Absolutely blew the field away the first half of the season, and unfortunately missed the first race of the playoffs, and then wrecked out of the second race. It was eliminated out of the first round of the playoffs with all the wins he has.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, Chris.
Uh-oh.
We paid a guy to go to his house and steal his horseshoe. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, but that was like the saddest thing for me as a fan of racing, even sim racing, to see that happen to a guy who dominated the Xfinity Series for the first, 2/3 of the season, and then just the worst luck in the world for the first two races of the playoff, and he's out. And I mean, it's just, ouch. You know what I'm saying? What do you do to recover from that?
Right. And Daniel did win, did cross the line, so he will be the leader at the halfway point, so he'll get those 10 bonus points. That'll help him towards the playoffs. Glazier will be second. Comstock, Daly, pretty much everybody in position now. Parker, Mons, Coleman, Kelly, Grijalva, and Tommy Ryan will be the drivers that get that. And what if I told you the third and fourth place battle's not over? It's still going back here.
Oh, you missed it. You should rewind it a couple of laps and watch how they dealt with lap traffic and trying to pass each other. Oh yeah, it was insane.
Some insane.
It took everything to keep my finger off the button, so I'm not yelling in your ear.
Oh, you can yell in my ear all I want to. I'm used to it. It's okay. No, that's what it's all about here. Is we've been doing a little bit of a radio style broadcast here, and of course at times talking together here tonight and having a good old time, just doing something different here with this broadcast to kick off the Captain Esports Network run with the Sim500 North Carolina 811 Cup Series. So we appreciate those people, I believe, are watching tonight. So thank you guys for joining us. I know there's a lot of things we could be doing on a Monday night, but to sit here on your computer, or even maybe like some people put, as Falkingham just ran a 10-4 on lap number 25 of the race with the same tires. I caught that out of the corner of my eye. But I was saying, as those guys are able to watch us here tonight, hopefully you're enjoying the broadcast. Hopefully others who are watching tonight on Facebook, on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube, on Muschin's Facebook, on the Sim500 Facebook. We're on the 811 Facebook. You name it, we're probably there somewhere, except for TV.
And we're working on it. No, I'm kidding.
That'd be awesome. I mean,
well, actually, I'm not gonna lie, Chris. I've got it on my big screen TV because I'm casting from the browser to my TV.
There you go.
So technically, we're on TV.
If you have a Roku sticker or Apple TV or any of that stuff, you could be doing the same thing right now. Did you see Mike Kelly with his pit stop there? He pulls away. A good stop for him. Tommy Ryan also pulling away, 14.7 stops. As these guys, 4 tires and fuel. And you got to remember another factor. Yes, we don't see the pit crews when they're racing, but the pit stops are backwards on this track.
Yes.
That's tricky for a driver, too.
It really is for a guy who doesn't do a lot of road course racing. And we got Parker on pit road now, so we watch on the screen here. And it's really important, getting in and getting off pit road is always important, but especially here at Watkins Glen, because as you watch when we come off of pit road here for Parker, the pit exit, that little blue line that you're not supposed to cross, the merge line, it's really easy to accidentally put a couple tires over that thing, and that's a bad penalty to get at a road course.
It is. It's one that you do not want, and because that's basically a drive-through penalty when it's all said and done here. As Parker comes in, 4 tires, fuel, and after what he's been through, probably a pair of underbritches for the 81 car. As he pulls away, and good stomp on his part. 13-7, Joseph Grijalva's on pit road. The Army member. Appreciate what he's done. His father's watching as he does every race from El Paso, Texas, where it's probably freaking hot right now.
Hey, I wonder what their MOS was. I'm an Army vet myself, 11 Bravo, carried the M60. I was in from 87 to 89, and then I went in the Navy for a few years. And, had a good time.
Hopefully Mr. Grijalva can answer that question here for us. I don't have that answer, unfortunately, but I do know that Bentley Glazier is on pit road in the Kickstart Mountain Dew. Fruit Punch is my favorite. Pit stop in.
Yeah, what's great about Bentley? He's a good guy. He's fun to talk with, fun to race with. Mm-hmm. But every 3 or 4 races, he throws a different Mountain Dew scheme on his car. It's always Mountain Dew, but sometimes it's like the Dew SA paint job that they had. Oh, great guy too, man. Loves to run those Mountain Dew colors.
I've actually gone back to the Code Red drink that I've drinking plenty of times. I'm a big fan of red, you'll notice. So when I tell you Fruit Punch is my favorite,
I had no idea, sir.
Actually, it is a fact. So Byron Daly now second as we're 21 laps to go. He's 26 seconds back. He has pulled away from David Comstock. You got to wonder now, if you're these drivers who have stayed out of the pits, how do you protect the the undercut, which is a driver pitting before you? And then how do you potentially do the overcut, which is a driver pitting after a previous driver does? So in this case, what I mean by that, Byron Daly was behind behind Comstock, but ahead of Parker. So how does he prevent Parker from jumping him in position? But at the same time, how does he jump the Comstock car for position? If I confused you, I'm sorry.
You did. I'm writing it down. Just give me a second.
Yes.
Carry the 1.
Yep.
And, multiply by 4.
Sounds
and
right.
I don't know.
Right. Square root. So basically, I'll explain it as we go here. So we're going to watch these pit stops here with Byron Daly, and it's a big road course term. If you're one that watches IndyCar racing, Formula One, even a lot of IMSA or WEC, any of those series, Blanc Pond, you'll hear those terms a ton. Undercut and overcut basically is what they do in pit stops. The undercut, and I'll try to explain it easier here. So when a car pits, for example, Josh Parker's already pitted. If Josh can get ahead of David Comstock and get ahead of Byron Daly, he does what they call the undercut. He pitted early and got in front of the other cars. If Byron, or if David Comstock pits here, and he is able to, say, hypothetically jump up in front of Bentley Glazier, he's doing what they call the overcut.
Okay.
That's what it means.
I still wouldn't know how to combat that. I mean, I am so lost.
Totally understandable. With oval drivers, trust me, it took time for me, but I sit back, I watch all kinds of racing as much as I can, and try to just understand it all. And it's taken time. It's taken getting to know people like Julian Altena, who passes bedtime here, is watching us on the stream. Julian's over in the Netherlands. I think he's got work tomorrow. It's like 4 a.m. over there, I think. And
my goodness,
Julian's taught me time.
Breaking news: Tommy Ryan has retired from the race.
Oh no!
After huge impact. Huge impact.
It did not show me that on the replay board here. It shows me on the highlights. I'll have to go back and see if I can find it. But right now, let's track Falkingham on pit road.
And it happened in the S's. Falkingham finally making his pit stop right here.
I think I found the accident.
Yeah, hold on to your dentures, pal.
Oh boy.
It was a hard one. This was a Mustian. He absolutely pulled a Mustian right here.
What is a Mustian?
If you've ever seen me drive at Watkins, Glen, you'd understand what I'm talking about.
All righty then.
I tell you,
Fuel only.
The S's are, oh, wow.
I think it was
see, we talked about that with him.
13.3 for him. As he pulls away, I think it was fuel only. It could have been tires. I could be wrong by that. I'll have to go back and double check. It's very hard with these cars because the lifting isn't much. But Falkingham out and away. Glazier going to jump back up to second as pit stops happen here for Jimmy Coleman. Also Byron Daly on pit road as we'll track these guys coming out.
It certainly looks like it was fuel only.
I mean, most of these stops are right around that 12, 13. Chad Coleman maybe fuel only.
Yeah, Byron Daly was fuel only. Yeah, so they're we had talked about that with Daniel.
Yeah.
Remember we mentioned the possibility of that, so I guess he took our advice, huh? Hey,
somebody actually listened to us.
Shame on them. I'm just
Rule
saying.
number one, you do not listen to us. Period.
No.
Period. Don't do it.
Well, I mean, if you're at home and a spectator, yeah.
Okay,
by
you
all
guys
means,
listen.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
So Tyler Dalton in the Todd Kirkwood tribute paint scheme. Again, thoughts and prayers with that family. iRacing member there who supported a lot of teams. I bring up the story a lot. I used to broadcast with GSRC, which is a great broadcasting company you can check out on iRacing. And great people over there. And we covered the Premier Racing League at the time. Tyler Dalton, Tommy Ryan, all these guys ran over there. And Todd Kirkwood was somebody that ran over there, did a lot of supporting there. And that's where I knew Todd. I've never really ever talked to him or anything like that, but he was definitely supportive of that league and that crew. And when I heard about his passing, it was very unfortunate there. So thoughts and prayers out to that family there. And speaking of Tommy Ryan, let's go back to it. This was lap number 28. Tommy's already off, so I'm going to rewind it here just a little bit, the old school way. But in the S's, as Mustian pulled it, let's talk about it here. Goes through turn one. He's got a lap car there in front of him. Gets to his inside here, and I wonder if he climbs his curve. He gets a piece of it, which isn't so... Oh, he gets wide, though. He gets up there where there's almost what Steve Matchett, an F1 former broadcaster, would call it clag. or the marbles, if you will, and loses the back end there. Probably had the wheel turn too much and just lost the back end on that car. And the 99, unfortunately, going to be out of the race, and which is sad because I was about to do, as pit stops get wrapped up here, I was going to go through a new segment that we're going to do here on Monday nights in the 811 Call Before You Dig family of drivers. Basically, these are all drivers that are supported by the 811 crew, if it's Virginia or North Carolina or whatever state they're representing. But looking at the drivers right now and where they run, and let's start right now. The best one in the group is Mike Kelly here. He's got the 811 on his back bumper there, the PPG Ford Mustang, and that number 2 car running in the 6th position right now. He is some 49 seconds back in the 6th position right now. Tyler Dalton normally has the 811 on his car as he goes sliding through turn 6. But obviously with the tribute paint scheme on his 19 car right now, but he runs in the 9th position. I'm sure he's pretty happy with that run right now. The boss man, Joey Jatina, look at that beautiful looking paint scheme there. And the North Carolina 8114 Mustang. What was that?
I said thank you.
Yes, he predicted a top 15 car, by the way.
And that's where he's on 13th. Yeah.
Kept the car clean, running 13th right now for him in that number 14 car. As I scroll my way through the field, the rest of them, you might want to hide your eyes. Unfortunately for them, Randy Oakham running 28th, Tommy Ryan, as you saw, involved in that accident, 29th, and Jeff Ryan 32nd. But good news for the 811 crew. When you see Tommy Ryan at Daytona, you know you're going to have somebody with a chance to win in that car. I can promise you. That guy knows how to run on super speedways, which, by the way, next Monday night, we'll be back here, if allowed, at 8:45 Eastern Time for the Daytona race. So hopefully you'll come and join us for that. And, of course, Sunday night we'll have the FEG Xfinity Series from, of course, I get lost in my head, Homestead Miami Speedway. So we'll pretty much take a trip down I-95. We might stop in my hometown in Florida and then go to Miami and enjoy the FEG race before going back to Daytona.
Wait.
For the Cup race. Yes.
I'm sorry. Did I hear you right? You're a Florida man?
I was born in Florida.
I knew there was something wrong with you. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm kidding.
There are plenty of things wrong with me.
I spent some time in Florida myself. I told you I was in the Navy for a while, and it started off with going to electronics engineering school down there in Orlando.
Chad Coleman.
And then
on pit road. Sorry.
On pit road. Sorry. Oh, sorry. No, go ahead, man.
No, he's on pit road. Where? Full Sail?
Say what?
What school? Full Sail? Full Sail?
No, it was electronics school for the Navy.
Oh, okay.
And then once I finished school, you go out to the fleet and do your job. And I went to the USS Saratoga, stationed in Mayport, Florida.
Ah, gotcha.
Loved it, man. Best time of my life. Well, as far as work goes.
Understood. And we, again, I mean, anybody who's out there who's been in the service, we appreciate what they do for us. I mean, Grijalva being one, you being another. Unfortunately, we've lost plenty of them, but we're very appreciative of anybody who has served, and even those in the future are going to be going to serve. But right now, we've got a pretty spread out field here. 20-second lead is, I remember somebody actually suggesting here that on Facebook that maybe do more of a through the field type of thing. So it's something I've been trying to do a little bit here. So I think this is a good opportunity. Let's do it. 15 laps to go here as Daniel Falkingham has about a 20-second lead right now. So, I mean, he is just on pace right now to go get that 7th victory of the season and continue to lead on. He's just getting faster. He's been what they call the purple lap in road racing. But basically, it's the fastest lap of the race. He ran a 20 a minute ago, now in the 16 area of the 110 lap. So you wonder if he's going to break a 110 here in a second. Bentley Glazier also in the 110s right now. He runs in the 2nd position. He is unfortunately 20 seconds back. Good news, though. He's got 4.1 seconds over Byron Daly, who now runs in the 3rd position. Byron
Falkingham lost it in the bus stop.
Oh, it looks like he's able to correct it there as Daniel goes off track. I don't see any damage on the cars. A little mistake there, but something else I have noticed as I was going through the field, I'm seeing Byron Daly's name, and I'm like, wait a minute, where is David Comstock? All the way down here at 14th now. And wow. David had a speeding penalty, I think, on pit road, 43-second stop. So we'll come back to that and cover. But when you're on pit road for 40 seconds, that's usually a speeding penalty right there. Byron Daly runs 3rd, 22 seconds back. But, yeah, your driver there, Byron, looking pretty good.
Yeah, he is, man. And, I mean, for a guy that started back there in 19th, really tore through the field fast, but as the race went on, and everything kind of just peaked and then leveled out. But yeah, having a great run tonight.
So Byron running third position right now. Justin Mons is continuing to battle after his early spin in this race to 49, running P4 right now, 43 seconds back. Jimmy Coleman, what a run for him up here in the top 5 right now. He actually sitting where he is right now would jump Joey Jatina in the points at the end of this race. So this could really get an interesting battle amongst admin / owner at Daytona next week. That could be an odd one. Mike Kelly right now in the 6th position as he has gained 1 spot there in that spot. You were going to say something, John?
No, I'm laughing at you because you make these interesting points that are very valid, by the way.
Oh, wait till I get to the history stuff here in a few minutes. I've got that in my head. So, I mean, I'll go ahead and bring one part of Watkins Glen up that people may not have known. The original track, actually start-finish line, is sitting over here in the S's. And let's see if I can get the right camera shot to show it. But you'll notice there's a little flag stand over to the left here in that area right there. There's actually a flag stand that was the original start-finish line at Watkins Glen.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Joseph Grzelva running there in the 7th position. Tyler Dalton there in the 8th spot. If I get the right camera, I'll show it to you. But unfortunately, I don't control the cameras too much on boards and stuff I do. But everything else is in one big old camera pack. Like that shot there. Hi, Tyler. And all that done by the Track Cams 22 guys. So appreciate their hard work there. But Tyler, 9th position right now. 19 seconds, or I'm sorry, he's a minute 6 back right now. That's just Daniel, how far he's ahead of the second. Jose Speedy Gonzalez. He's got Speedy Gonzalez down there on the right and left quarter panels of the car. He's actually got the leader on his derriere right now, ready to pass him and put him a lap down in the 9th position. So that's all we have on the lead lap right now, 9 cars. But Robert Freire in the 10th position right now in the 77 car. Nelson Riviera, the 22 car, the LaRue Mobile, getting passed by Byron Daly. He is in 12th or 11th. Joey Jatina is 12th. And that's actually a battle for position. Let's watch this here for a second as Mike Montesi looking to put some pressure on the 14 car.
Little bit as they come down through the last little small stretch here to, what was that turn? You call it turn 6?
Turn 6 or turn 10, depending on which generation you were born.
Yeah. That left-hander, and then they're going to have a little right-hander right here as they come back to the front stretch. Montesi makes up a little bit of ground right there, Chris.
Yeah, Watkins Glen has 4 left-handed corners, and that is it on the track. You want to know what 2 of them are? The bus stop.
Yeah.
The other 2 are turn 3 of the S's and turn 6, which is the 90-degree left-hander there. Speaking of 90 degrees, here they are into turn number 1. This is becoming a 4-car or 3-car battle. Look behind them. Here comes David Comstock in the 13 car. Inside of the 6 as they roll their way up the S's here.
And that right there is a very good move on Montesi's part. Mike's a smart driver. If you ever watch him in this Cup Series, he knows when to let people go, and he knows when to track them back down. He's like kind of like the Mark Martin mindset, if you will.
Consistency.
Same thing I do in my racing. If I see somebody coming, I'll let them go because either A, they're already faster than me and there's nothing I can do about it anyway, or B, they're going to wear their stuff down, and I'm going to catch back up to them in about 10 laps. So,
which, if you've been in the top 5 in the road course all night, I think this is just a smart move. Let them go. Let David on his way. He's probably angry right now, so when you drive angry, you drive different. Angry me, for instance, on the track is a whole nother driving from non-angry me. But, yeah, David out there trying to get whatever he can get. His next car is actually 8.6 seconds ahead. But unfortunately, he's got about 9 laps here to catch him when it is all said and done. So let's talk a little bit of history. As I said, the original Watkins Glen racetrack is actually downtown. It was the streets of Watkins Glen. And that was until, that was until the 1950s, I believe it was. Unfortunately, and I hate to bring the mood down all of a sudden here, but basically a young kid was struck in an accident during a race in Watkins Glen. And basically from that point forward, it was actually the last track to host what would be a street race like that, because then it became a law that you had to have a closed circuit racetrack and that kind of thing, and hence Watkins Glen International was built. And ever since then, here it is, sitting here. Been a track since, 1950 something or whatever. I'm going to hit rewind here for a second as Daniel about to hit a 10 again. Or a 110.03. He's about to break the 109 barrier here in a second. I'm going to hit stop right now. That right there is the flag stand. right
Oh,
there
wow.
in front of you, where the Mustang sampling paint banner is there. That is the old flag stand of Watkins Glen, right there on that track. It's something, yeah, it's one of those things I like to go through the nostalgia of racing and find these historic things. I live in a town, believe it or not, right here on Lake Lanier, which is one of the more popular lakes for not good reasons. And basically, little be known, there's actually a dirt track that sits underneath that lake here. Because the lake is actually part of a dam to a town that's just south of here, about 30 minutes, that was built. So it's actually the largest man-made lake in America. So basically the lake sits on top of trees and houses and all these different things that were swallowed up by a lake that was built, man-made, including a dirt track that lives underneath it. It's just kind of cool to hear stories like that. If you listen to the Dale Jr. download, as by the way, we got a battle for second shaping up here. Just noticed that Bentley Glazier has caught Byron Daly for second here. There was an episode with Red Farmer where they talk about a track down in Key West that Red said he actually he walked down the back straightaway. He said there was plywood on the wall, and that was it. And guess what was on the other side of that wall?
Water?
The ocean.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, what? When you hear stories like that, it's just amazing. But
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,
I love the Dale Jr. download, man. He's got some great guests that show up on there, and great stories to be heard. A lot of good stuff, and I can tell, Chris, that you have a passion for the history of the sport that I am going to enjoy listening to one way or the other for the next few weeks.
Absolutely, man. And it's something I grew up like. I don't like to make things about me or anything like that. I'm about the series. I'm about who I broadcast for and the fans and the viewers who are enjoying this, and I hope they're enjoying the broadcast tonight of this Cup Series. And I know it's been kind of random conversations at the same time as calling the race, because a road race is a road race. It's basically you don't get cautions or anything like that. We don't get many breaks or anything like that. So it's just kind of you're calling what you're seeing and trying to catch all the action as much as you can around a 7-turn road course, basically, if you will. But you know, the one thing about me is I grew up wanting to be a race broadcaster. Not saying easy, Byron. He almost ran into Ed Burrell there off turn 1. But wanting to be a race broadcaster, and that dream's still not out the window. I mean, it's never gone until it's gone. So this is something I do for fun now, and it's something that I enjoy doing, and whoever I cover, it's just it's an honor and a pleasure to be able to do it and be able to talk to people watching, sitting on their computers or watching on TV. And I mean, again, because we could be doing something else right now.
Well, you know, that's a great point you bring up. And Chris, I will say this, and I'm not blowing smoke up your ear or nothing like that, man. You call our Sunday night Xfinity races. You have been for a while now. I love to go back and watch those replays, even though I'm really not very pertinent in any of them, because I'm one of those guys that just rides around the back most of the time. But still, the races you call for the Sunday night races are great. So I know that you're going to bring a great program to this Cup Series, regardless of who's in the booth with you from here on out. And if it's me, great. If not, I will be on the track, so you make fun of me there too. But anyway,
I make fun of myself half the time. I mean, if you hear some of the stumbles I make in the booth, it's like I yak about, I can't talk or whatever, and I'm like, and I went to school for this for a living. But
oh, did you really? You went
absolutely.
to broadcasting school?
I did.
Oh, man.
I did. Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale, and I still brag today that I'm paying loans for a school that's not even there anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's continue on with the race now. You saw on the screen as we were talking there, Montesi got past Jatina. That is for the 13th position. And then the second place battle is starting to kind of stretch back out a little bit here as Byron is stretching it on Glazier. 6 laps to go as Daniel Falkingham continues to just drive away from the field right now as Daly, Glazier, Mons, Coleman still in the top 5 right now. And as I look at it right now, it looks like 20, all the way down to 23rd. Brian Wortman still out there digging, running laps. Doug Roth. Any IRA jokes, you can enter those there. Tommy Ryan is still, Tommy Ryan's off the track. Kevin England, Josh Parker is off track. That's something we didn't catch, by the way. Randy Yoakum, Ron Holyfield, Chad Coleman, as I mentioned. So a lot of cars off the track right now as we hit 5 laps to go. And this is a very overlooked part, John, of this race is, when you see Byron Daly and Glazier, these guys battling out. 50 straight laps. Right now we're at 45. Is not easy to do under green flag. So you're trying to hit your marks. You're trying to not mess things up. You got tires that are wearing out. Your body, you're probably getting tired from looking at a monitor the whole time trying to stay focused. These guys are probably starting to feel a little bit fatigued.
Absolutely. And I mean, you're talking about hitting your marks, gas, brake, turn, gas, upshift, downshift, so many times a lap on a road course, and on oval racing, it's just a rhythm, really, just knowing when to get off the gas and get back into it, how much brake to apply here and there, whatever. But on a road course, it's so many different entry points and exit points, and we're seeing the best of the best right now. The guys that are still on track, even though they're laps down or whatever, are some of the best you're going to see. And I wanted to talk to you real quick, Chris. Do you remember when we interviewed Daniel? And he said he probably would get faster as the night went on. That kid turned a 110.029 about 4 laps ago.
That's getting it. And you wonder, there's a term I call from open wheel racing, from calling a couple of open wheel series here the last couple of years. There's a term I've termed the Isaac Morris lap. And what I mean by that is a young racer named Isaac Morris, who's a really good open wheel racer. Road course is just killer. And he is one that would pull out the, I guess if you're an F1 racer, the Sebastian Vettel or Michael Schumacher lap, if you will, where it was like they were getting ready to go to pit road and all of a sudden this lap comes out of nowhere. I have a feeling that Daniel's going to pull that lap out on the last lap. And I want to see if he does. I want to see if he pulls out like a 109.95 or something on the last lap of the race. I could just see it coming.
I would not bet against that at all.
So as you go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I went back to see what happened to Parker. I don't know if you have the ability to go that far back to lap 28, but I think he just decided he didn't want to race anymore.
Oh boy, one of those.
Yes. Not to bring up a dark part of Watkins Glen's history, but very reminiscent of J.D. McDuffie.
The reason we have a bus stop at Watkins Glen, basically.
Yes.
I knew where you were going as soon as you said that. But while we were watching, you did see that Comstock got around Nelson Riviera for 11th. He's about 5 seconds or so back from Robert Frary. This is actually a battle for position right here. Bobby Wetzel and Richard Beasley. We haven't said their two names all night. They're Bobby with the number 9 on it. Or no, I'm sorry. I'm actually off of position. It's Richard Beasley and Elliot Henderson battling for position right here. This is the 17th and 18th position here as Elliott thought about it. And Grzyzhova is going to get hit by Beasley. That is one of those moments right there. We talked about this, John, where Beasley probably got tricked by Elliott. Elliott showed his nose, so Beasley overreacted, mirror driving, and totally forgot about Grzyzhova in front of him to hit him.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because, I mean, the 47 didn't stop moving until he got to an inanimate object there, it looks like.
Well, the good news is, though, Grzyzhova is in his own little space right now, so it didn't cost him anything but an incident point, thankfully. So let's go back to Josh Parker and show this. And for those who don't know, back in 1991, there was no bus stop. It was a straightaway all the way down to the carousel until an unfortunate issue with J.D. McDuffie happened. A different version of this. This case, McDuffie lost his brakes, and, well, actually, it looked sort of like that, unfortunately. But, yeah, and the rest is history.
I actually saw that race as it happened. I was watching that race that day, and like everybody that was watching at the time, it was just so hard to fathom that somebody could, be injured like that. Right, it really was. Right. It was tough to watch. But, yeah, like I said, I think Parker just decided he didn't want to drive anymore at that point. He didn't even try to slow down.
Let's go back to the Grzyzhova incident here as Daniel's just got the white flag this time by, so final lap for him. But, yeah, this is where it's easy. So watch how Henderson here pokes his nose out there. Beasley's going to drive deep because of that, and whoops, gets in the back. Grzyzhova just locks it down. And you know what? I stand corrected. He did lose a spot. Tyler Dalton got by him right there for the 7th position.
Yeah, and you called, I mean, that's a really good look into the driver's mind, Chris, that you brought up there. Something I've never really thought about, and I'm sure it's happened to me several times and didn't realize it, but when somebody does that, when they poke their head out there like that, it completely, breaks your focus on what you're doing, and on a road course, that's so important not to have happen.
Well, think about it for a second. You're looking in the mirror, and you're like, wait, where's that car at? He's around here somewhere. And then you lose track of where you are.
Unfortunately for Grzyzhova, or how do you say his name? Grzyzhova, that meant that, Beasley used him as a breaking point.
As Daniel Falkingham's going to come through the last 2 corners of this race. He's dominated, led pretty much all the laps outside of being on pit road as he comes to victory lane a 7th time in upstate New York as Daniel Falkingham wins at Watkins Glen and is going to continue to extend his regular season point lead. And he did not run that lap, I thought, but he did run the fastest lap of the race on the last lap.
Wow. Missed it by that much.
And here comes Byron Daly. He'll finish second here. 23 seconds back, but a great run. Up 17 spots. All green flag from 19th to 2nd.
Great show from Byron Daly. Bentley Glazier comes home in 3rd.
Yeah, Justin Mon's going to go through the carousel here. He's got actually a battle for position right here in front of him. Montesi versus Joey Jatina. Back here at 13th and 14th. Joey drives it in her a little deep. Sends it a little wide there, and I think he's going to end up waving the white flag there to that Kohler Ford Mustang. But nonetheless, Mon's going to come by and finish in the 4th position out of the 5 cars that finish on the lead lap. And how about this drive here for Jimmy Coleman? Going to finish top 5 and likely make the jump on Joey Jatina in the playoff standings. So what a run for him. So what a race it was. This was crazy. I mean, a lot of action going on. And somebody's driving backwards over at turn 6 right now. Don't know who that is, but oh, it's Mike Kelly. What do you know? But we'll watch. Mike just had it on. Oh boy.
What else you gonna do? What else you gonna do?
Thinking about it now, Mike Kelly just reminded me there was also a Sam Hornish wreck where he hit those barrels right there at pit road entrance.
Blew that sand everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
There he goes, lays the burnouts down. We'll talk to him here in just a couple moments. We'll talk to the top 3 and maybe a couple other drivers here in this race. Very intense road race, I would say. I mean, you get a lot of road races on iRacing that are quote-unquote boring, but the way I look at it, racing's racing.
Yeah.
And, my point as a broadcaster, I'm going to go find battles, and I don't care what positions they're for. We saw, a great battle amongst Parker and David Comstock, and also trying to remember the third person that was in that battle with him. Off the top of my head, who was it? Byron Daly. Those three were just going to war with each other through the corners area. We go back to early in the race where Daly decided, hey, I'm going to Earnhardt this thing through the bus stop. And unfortunately got into Parker. If you guys don't know what I mean by that, go back. I don't even remember what year it is. 87, maybe 86 at Riverside.
86. Yeah, Google it. It's on YouTube.
Earnhardt's leading a race, and he's got 2 lap cars in front of him. And at Riverside, they had a long sweeping corner, and then there was a set of S's. And these 2 cars were pretty much blocking him. So he just went straight through the S's through the grass and made the pass.
Wait, I thought he and Bodine were actually battling for position.
They might have been. I thought there was 2 lap cars there. I could be wrong by that, but
yeah, one of them was a lap car. That was the one between him and Bodine, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but yeah.
Well, Falkingham pulls it into his pit stall with a burnout. So a very interesting way of doing things. Let's take a look at the results after this race. What again intense battle it was. As Daniel Falkingham wins it. Let's cooperate with me here. Results. They can be stubborn sometimes. There we go. Falkingham wins it by 23 seconds over Byron Daly, Bentley Glazier, Justin Mons, and Jimmy Coleman, your top 5, with Mike Kelly, Tyler Dalton, Grijalva, Jose Gonzalez, and David Comstock, your top 10. John, I'll let you read here a little bit.
Robert Frieri comes home 11th there. Nelson Rivera, 12th. Mike Montesi, 13th. Joey called the shot tonight. He wanted a top 15. Got himself 14th. Jose Funky Cole Medina comes home 15th. Bobby Wetzel, 16th. Elliot Henderson, 17th. Richard Beasley, 18th. 19th is Scott Simley. And 20th will be Andrew Teff. Yep. Take it away.
Yeah, Charles Woods, 21st. Ed Burrell, 22nd. Brian Wortman, who was just at Watkins Glen Saturday, he finishes in the 23rd position. Doug Roth, 24th. Chad Coleman in the 25th position. Ron Holyfield, who said that I'm not that good here. Understood. 26th, Josh Parker, who was up there towards the front and had his, I guess we'll call it, unfortunate deal happen. 27th, Tommy Ryan, that was unfortunate, finishing 28th. Randy Yoakum finishing 29th. And the rest of the 35 drivers, Kevin England, who's having some thunderstorm issues there where he's at. Hopefully everything ends up okay there in the Kevin England land. Finishing 30th, John Fowler. 31st, 32nd, Jeff Ryan. 33rd to Doug Sigmund. 34th, Glenn Campbell. And 35th, unfortunately, a starting park for Eric Arnold. But Eric actually doing pretty well in the point standings, so not really going to affect his run when it comes to the points battle. So, all right, let's talk to some of the drivers here that finished in the top 3. We shall start to let's get the third place finisher here, John. Bentley Glazier, and obviously if you have any questions, John, and joining us here, feel free to jump in here and ask anytime you want to, but we'll get Bentley Glazier here with us tonight. Bentley, great run for you. Had a what almost looked like a close battle there with Byron. Looked like the car kind of fell off there at the end, but a great third place run for you in that Mountain Dew car.
Yeah, this is about as good as I can expect. I know Daniel was really fast. Byron, he wasn't able to qualify yet. Connection issue, and I'm sure if he qualified, he'd been way down the roads. Third place is really good. I'm happy.
I must feel like a win for you considering the company you're in, but let's not sell yourself short there, Bentley. You've had some great runs yourself this season. So talk to me. Going into the playoffs, you got one race left. What are you looking forward to?
I'm just hoping to keep running good. I've been getting some top 5s. It's so hard to win in this series that, you know, we're trying every time, but when you get a top 5, it feels like a win. So, yeah, just hopefully keep running good.
Well, let me hit you with 2 things that's going to make you proud right now. Did you know that you have the most top 10s in the series this season?
I did not know that.
And did you know out of all the drivers who have run all the races this season, you have the lowest incident per race?
Nice. I did know that, but I got a pretty good amount of incidents tonight, so I think I got 6.
It might help a little bit. But still, I mean, that's something that you could ride as you go to Daytona next week, which is going to be a whole big old wild card, but something that adding tonight's top 10 to this race, top 5 actually in this case, you can just keep racking those up and helping yourself into points.
Definitely, yeah. And, you know, just racing these guys, I picked up a lot of speed running here. I know they were still, you know, pulling me pretty like a half second a lap easy, but just chasing them, you kind of get faster and faster.
Well, great job tonight, man. Congratulations, and here's a chance to send some shout-outs whoever you like to, buddy.
Just thanks to all my teammates at OGR. Thanks Charlie Woods for racing with me. And thank you guys, and thanks Sim500, Joey Katina. And yeah, that's about it.
Absolutely, man. Well, great job tonight, Bentley Glazier. Third place finish, and likely going to jump to third in the points, I would say, after tonight. Chad Coleman having some issues there, so looks like Bentley Glazier will be third in points unofficially now. It's not the playoff grid, but just straight up in the points tonight. So great job there, Bentley.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, you too. As Glazier finishes in the third position in the points, or in the race, I should say, tonight. This is called stalling, as I work my way back to the proper channel. Let's get your driver here. Do you want to talk to Byron?
Oh, I sure do. Byron Daly, John Mushton. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing all right. How are you?
I am so proud of that paint job on your car. It's one of my favorites, and it seems like every time I see you in it, you're doing really good. You had a great run tonight. You didn't qualify from what we were told. You had a connection issue, but you still managed to drive that thing all the way up to second. I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you had been able to qualify, you probably would have given Falkingham a run for his money. Am I right?
Yeah, 2 things there. I wish I did get to qualify because I think we were pretty close on hot lap speed there, and yeah, I had 0 sounds, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Like I had to reset everything when I got in the server, and when it crashed, it reset all those settings back. So I had 0 engine sound, or no tires, nothing. So I was just kind of driving by braille, and it was yeah. So to make the mistake I did, that was kind of dumb. What happened earlier in the race there to finish second. I mean, I can't ask for much more. I mean, Daniel had this thing in the bag from the word go, so it was a good run.
Wait a minute. Are you saying it was a mistake of you? Are you talking about the Dale Earnhardt move you made over in the bus stop?
Yeah, that was probably a little too much for the time of the race it was.
Well, talk about it there. What? Because obviously that's an instinct type of thing right there. You got a lap car in front of you. You're trying to get I think at the time it's second or third with Parker. Talk about that move there and just kind of what's going through your mind at that moment. That's like, okay, I got to go here.
Well, I knew that the lap car was gonna probably slide up high going into the carousel because he had a pretty bad angle going into this last set of curves there, and Josh was gonna have to try to go to his outside. There was no choice for Josh, so I figured if I could just scoot across, like barely hang on to the curb, and maybe not get a slowdown, I could kind of snooker them and get both of them at the same time. And I, when I went for that, it just plowed up the racetrack and then the Josh. It was that was a bit embarrassing. I probably could have kept that from happening had I been a little bit more. I was just distracted by the fact of slow down, the fact that we didn't crash the first time, and I could have just slowed the car down more to prevent from plowing into Josh. But it was just one of those things. I kind of had an idea of where the cars were going to go, and I knew where I wanted to be when they went where they went. I just needed more racetrack to make it happen, and kind of ran out.
Oh, you had us on our feet. We're like, whoa, what just happened here? And I mean, I think we were actually on board your car when you did it. And it was just like, oh, and of course I think of 80, the move with Earnhardt at Riverside, and I was just like, he just pulled an Earnhardt here, but still, hey, very impressive run though. And anything else you got for him, John?
No, that's about it. Byron, why don't you give a thank to your sponsors there, buddy?
Yeah, I got to thank Raging Cajun for coming up with this paint scheme. It's been fun to drive, definitely. Good old-fashioned, half drove back there. Sim500 putting this deal on, everybody for broadcasting. 811, everybody's involved in this deal. It's fun to run, and had a good time.
Quick side question real quick. How tough was it getting through the field? Because I know you had to pass a lot of cars.
Yeah, it was one of those things that, I don't want to say it was easy, but it was you just have to be very mentally prepared for what guys were going to do, because you had some guys who were going to give you the spot and some that were going to race you. So every time going into a braking zone, it's I think I was pretty good on the brakes compared to most guys. I had to make a choice, whether or not I was going to throw it in or not. And sometimes, honestly, some of those passes were more accidental than they were on purpose. I'd be lined up with somebody, kind of half looking but with no intention, and they'll hit the brakes, and I'm still 100 meters from my brake mark, and just next thing you know, you're throwing it down the inside into the bus stop. And it's one of those deals that it was more because of the braking advantage I had, it felt easier than it looked, just because once you kind of get that over guys, it's more about just being close enough to make a lunge. But the hard part was just knowing who was going to give you the room and who was going to try to contest you for it.
We might or might not be watching this on replay right now. Just say that.
With some outstanding camera shots, man.
But hey, man, great job tonight. Congratulations on that comeback and second place finish.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Byron Daly finishing second here to Daniel Falkingham, who smokes the field again tonight. His 7th win. It's actually, if you put the 2 series he's raced in on the Captain Esports Network now, it's 18 wins this season in those 2 series. But Daniel, great job tonight. Obviously pulling out some, what some could say, Red Bull laps there at the end, throwing those hot laps in there. I was predicting a 109.95 that last lap, but you ended up 7 tenths off of that for that final lap. But still, man, dominant effort, and wasn't for lack of a couple tries. It looked like you were getting close to throwing it away in some hoops.
Yeah, I was trying all I could to get that 109, but just lap traffic being in the way, and I had so many issues with lap traffic. There's a few of them that wrecked in front of me, and I thought I was going to get collected in their mess. But thankfully, we got away unscathed on every single one of those. So the only big incident I had was me and Ned Burrell getting together in the last quarter when I thought he was giving it to me, so I just took the normal racing line, and I guess he just still threw it down in there or something. But other than that, great night. Back to the lane. It's been a while since we won on Monday night, so feels good to do it, and do it on tracks I'm really comfortable with. Like I said, I like road course racing. I love it, like I said before the race, and it was in my wheelhouse tonight, so we will definitely take it.
How was the car? Obviously 50 laps tonight on this track. How was it? How can you say difference from what you felt from the previous generation car?
Well, first of all, the next gen has got bigger brakes. They're able to brake more efficiently. It's got a lot more grip, and just some difference from the Gen 6 of this car is the way the tires work. They just don't fall off.
Right.
There is wear, but temperature-wise, just the way the times don't fall off. So there's something with the tire, like if you keep your tire in a certain window, you just keep going faster. So, and I mean the track was getting cold at the end too, but I was pumping up my fastest laps at the end of the race on 50-lap tires. So just something with how the tires work and whatnot, just with the current next gen is it's interesting. But I kind of like it because I wish we had some tire fall off of this car. The car drives great, like. It was way better than what the next gen drove on road courses at the beginning of the year, like with all the updates they did to it. I just wish they could get some fall off on the tires so it would be a little bit more fun and a little bit more conservative, having to like actually drive these cars and whatnot. But I mean, nonetheless, it is a lot of fun to drive. But there's definitely some perks, like there's some stuff that could be fixed to it. But it's definitely a blessing to drive, that's for sure.
I'm sure that'll get here too, because I remember obviously previous generation cars we kind of had similar issues, and then all of a sudden we got this tire build, I think it was a couple of years ago, that had a lot of fall off in the cars all of a sudden created. So I'm sure that'll get here relatively quickly. But no, it's got to be good to feel. It's got to feel good going into Daytona next week. Obviously, one more race before you get to those playoffs, and obviously I know it hasn't gone well on Sundays. So Monday night's obviously going to be your night to shine and do your thing here. What do you need to do at Daytona? Are we just going out and try to win that thing?
Definitely gonna have some fun next week before we get into playoff mode, and thankfully on Monday nights I'll be able to be at every race unlike Sundays. Right. So hopefully, and pretty much I think we've locked up the regular season championship too, so I don't know if there's any bonus points with that or whatnot. But Daytona, it's gonna be winter catch fence, that's for sure. So we're definitely gonna have a lot of fun. We're having a lot of fun next week, and we'll see if we come out on the good end of it.
As Lou Brown said, and I'm gonna put it in my own different version in Major League, it's my kind of race. It's my kind of race. Anyways. Great job tonight, Daniel. Shout out to whoever you like to.
Yep, just gotta thank Joey and all the admins who run the show at Sim500, all my sponsors, January 31st, first year Bailoff 207. Everyone who raises each every week, to NC811 for all they do for the series. Thanks to everyone at Team Name, Chad, Josh, David, Byron, Richard, Kevin, everyone else over there. Appreciate all the support. Everyone at North Fork Racing, Press Gilson, the whole crew over there. We had a great race Thursday night with the last Road Pro race. We got 3 to go, and we're above the cut line for top 20 in points. So hopefully we can keep that up for the final 3 races. So appreciate everyone at North Force. I got to thank you for coming on, stepping in on Monday nights. We appreciate what you do on Sundays, and look forward to having you for the rest of the season. So appreciate you coming over to Mondays as well. I got to thank all the fans who watch these every week. Thanks to Cosman, who paints on my car, Flacco Graphics, and friends and family for support as well.
There you go. Nice job, my man. Congratulations. Go celebrate the 7th win of the season, and we will see you Sunday in Homestead.
Thanks, Chris. You have a good one.
You too, buddy. Be safe. As Daniel Falkingham wins his 7th race of the season, his 18th in 2 seasons already when it comes to Sunday and Monday on the Captain Esports Network. So that dude knows how to win when it is all said and done. John is, let's see. Let me look down here in old Discord, because some people leave by now, some people hang around. It's my chance to go find some random. It's kind of like the post-race grid walk, if you will.
Yeah, you want to talk to Jatina? He's still down there.
I think Jatina might be a good talk. Him and Coleman. We're going to get Coleman, too.
Yeah.
Let's bring Jatina up here. We're going to sneak him up here with us. I told him I was going to talk to him. Problem is, I just sent him to the Sunday channel. This is how used I am to broadcasting on Sundays. But Joey joins us here. Joey, you predicted a top 15 finish. You finished 14th, which is, according to math, a top 15 finish. So congratulations on that. The only bad news in your situation is that Jimmy finished 5th.
Yeah, but I'm not really racing Jimmy. He's a teammate. He had a great run. This is by far my best ever road course race. Really didn't know what to expect, and I felt like I gave one away by giving my teammate a spot there. But no, man, what a blast! I mean, I think everybody left tonight wanting more, and that's what you want.
Yeah, definitely had a great turnout tonight. 35 cars. I know it was talked a little bit about how I guess the old cliche road course kills turnouts, as they say in iRacing, but 35 people coming out here to run this 2.45 mile road course. And we saw some intense action here tonight. We watched you battle with Mike there a little bit and a couple other battles that you were in. And it looked like people were out there trying to save their cars. And it was multiple battles out there on track.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we run a total of 2 road courses all year at Sim500. So we're not very good at this stuff. So yeah, most of us don't know what we're doing. We just kind of get lucky. But I don't know, man. This Cup car, I love it. I know a lot of people had a lot of negative stuff about it in the beginning, but I think they got this car driving as close to what a real race car would drive like versus anything on the service. So I'm having a blast. It actually fits me so well, and my results are showing that.
Let's talk about 811 here for a second. Obviously, you've had a lot to do with your partnership here, and I know obviously we've been kind of working this for a couple of weeks now, and 811's such an important group here on Monday nights. You've got them this awesome looking car. It kind of reminds you, if I may throw back a little bit to the Tennessean Sterling Marlin. If you remember, there was a season he ran for. Of course, I'm going to forget the team name. It was the team that ended up buying. Well, no, wasn't Ganassi. It was the 14 car he drove, and it was the waste management paint scheme that he drove.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of that.
Well, actually, Joey, we got that from the Skull Bandit paint scheme, right? Is that
That would make sense too. The 83 car, maybe 81, 83, something like that.
Yeah, he sent me a picture one day and said he wanted a car that resembled that, but with the NC811 sponsorship.
Yep, that's exactly what that is. Yeah, good call. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, it's still though, Joey, 811 doing so many great things here for this series.
Yeah, 811, but John, selfish plug there, Voodoo Designs painted that car. So I paid him extra for the 500-mile-an-hour paint. That's working out great. I love the car, and yeah, the NC811, the North Carolina branch. I'm proud to have them on the car. In the beginning, I didn't think I was worth, wearing the sponsor colors. So I kind of bounced around, but finishes started getting better. And I was like, you know what, I might be ready. And so we put the colors on. The car's been good ever since. But yeah, I mean, 811, for a national brand like this to jump in sim racing is, it's pretty unheard of. And we got to thank our friend Stoney Benefield out there who brought, came over and got a chance to see Sim500 and the type of drivers we have and people and broadcast and just the family atmosphere we have at times. But no, I mean, it's definitely an honor, for sure. So, the big thing is know what's below 811. Call before you dig, man. You got to remember that.
I think the irony here, and I kind of mentioned it, and I think somebody else mentioned it in an interview earlier, John, is the fact that the call before you dig means digging a hole, not calling before you dig as in digging racing.
Still,
two different terms.
I mean,
two different terms.
I'll tell you what, though, Joey's got a great point with these folks. It's a very important phone call to make. As a guy who used to do satellite TV and cable TV installations, I cannot tell you how many times we've had to actually stop a job to call these guys and find out where a sewage line was for this house, or where their gas main was, as they touched on at the top of the show with Randy Yoakum's interview. Very great tool to use. A lot of information to be had there, and they're nationwide, like Joey just said. We got them down here in South Louisiana. They got them up there in North Carolina, Virginia, all over the place. Yeah,
Georgia's got them also here. I believe Florida does too, and pretty much all the United States has it. And all you can do is just simply grab your phone, dial 811, and just talk to somebody and find out. Say, hey, I'm planning on putting a swimming pool in my ground if you're somebody that lives in a warmer state. Or, hey, I'm planning on, you mentioned satellites. I mean, most of them I know get put on roofs and stuff, but some you still have to, especially at like apartments, maybe you have to put a pole in the ground. And you just never know what you could pop up on. And you got to be careful about that kind of thing. So, Joe, we appreciate, man, you representing the 811, those guys allowing us to be a part of this broadcast. And we appreciate them watching us tonight. Hopefully they enjoyed our show and our fun. And, man, we appreciate what you do. And a lot of hard work. And we're looking forward to seeing you at Daytona next week.
Yeah, man, and I can promise you it's cheaper to make that phone call than to hit something that you don't want to. So just remember that at 811 before you cost yourself a ton of money. But yeah, guys, the partnership to have you, Chris, John Mushton here with Captain Esports Network. I mean, it's something I know we talked about doing next year, but I'm just glad we got the chance to do it now. It's what you guys bring to our Sunday night FEG Ford Entertainment Group Xfinity Series is just been off the charts. And again, the friendship, that's what we value the most here. So again, to everybody tonight, the drivers, we actually forgot to unmute chat, and it was such a peaceful race. So I want to thank those guys for all getting along tonight. And but other than that, guys, yeah, thank y'all so much. Daytona's going to be a blast. There's a lot of us that just get to go out there and, see what we can maybe bring back the hood or the checkered flag. So thanks so much, and we'll see y'all next week.
Absolutely. So that's hood or checkered flag and catch fence in 2 interviews. All right.
Yeah,
So there you go. Appreciate it, Joey.
We call that foreshadowing.
Yes, and I think Josh Parker also appreciates the chat not probably being on tonight.
Oh, probably. So.
Anyway, hey, let's bring another drive. We're having fun. Viewers are sticking around here, and hopefully you're enjoying a little post-race coverage that we're doing here. As let's Jimmy Coleman here finished in the 5th position tonight. A great run for him in that. I about pulled him to the Sunday channel. I about did it. Did you drag him up here?
I did. I got him.
Mushkin knows what he's doing. He's getting a raise. So, Jimmy Coleman, what a run for you. I guess the one thing I didn't know about you is you're pretty solid on these road courses, apparently. You fell back to about 10th or so at the beginning of the race, and all of a sudden I cut back to you about lap 5, and you're passing for 9th, passing for 8th, passing for 7th, and just slowly worked your way up to a top 5.
Yeah, man, I didn't know it either, to be honest with you. I'll take it, but no, man, it just, after a couple laps, the tires got a little heat in them, man. It felt great, especially going through the bus stop and stuff. I could really get through it pretty quick. So, just the biggest thing was stay consistent. We weren't going to keep up with Daniel, obviously, but still, I'll take it. Top 5 any day.
I'm going to start a little drama here for a second, but we just interviewed Joey for a second. And Joey made the comment that he wasn't, he didn't feel like he's racing you. He felt like he was, being a teammate and stuff. I don't want to say he didn't honestly say he was worried about you or anything, but like he felt like he doesn't feel like he's racing a teammate for that last playoff spot, which you probably jumped him for tonight.
So I think I did. So yep.
So I'm just kind of like, man, is that kind of how you feel too, or is it one of those? I'm secretly inside, like I just want to beat him.
Hell, really, I want to beat all of them, but I ain't that good. So, but no, I'll give him a little bit more of a break. But no, I ain't worried about it. I got to do my thing. If I worry about everybody else, then I wouldn't be here where I'm at right now. So.
That's pretty.
Well, Jimmy, I got to ask one quick question, man. Where do you live? What part of the country are you from?
I'm from Kentucky.
All right, so knowing this now that I know where you're from and watching you on these road courses and knowing that the history of NASCAR started in moonshine driving, I got to think, man, you had a shiner somewhere in your lineage, if I'm not mistaken.
There's a good possibility of that. It runs in the blood, so. Ran out of the mountains, so.
Yeah, a lot of these kids don't realize that NASCAR got to start with the moonshiners, evading the IRS guys on the back roads and, driving like that. And, hey, my car's faster than yours. Let's go find out kind of thing. And
it's kind of funny you say that, kind of segue in here. Living in Georgia where I'm at, I'm actually about 30 minutes from Dawsonville. Of course, we know that. The home of the Elliots and stuff. But Dawsonville claims to be the start of racing because of that kind of stuff, moonshine and stuff, because a lot of people would go down what a lot of people know as Georgia 400 here, was straight to Atlanta from Dawsonville. And a lot of people would go at night and that kind of thing. There's a lot of books that are interesting about that. So it's kind of funny you talk about the racing and moonshine, and here's Dawsonville right down the road from me. But
yeah,
just kind of interesting tie-in there. But Jimmy, great job, man. Congratulations on the top 5. I know you're obviously battling for a championship on Sundays and looking like you're going to sneak your way in to be battling on Mondays too.
Yep, man, it feels great, especially being both of them. Like I said, everybody here at Sim500 is top notch anyways. It's a tough league to be in, so I'm blessed to be here, but I'm ready to get in the championship run and see what I got. I'm ready for it. But just give a shout out to everybody. Like I said, everybody here at Sim500, all the admins putting on the league, you all for the broadcast. Can't wait to go back and watch it. P-Rod Towing for being on board, and just hope everybody enjoyed the show.
Absolutely, man. Great job tonight. Great 5th place finish.
Appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely, you too, buddy. As Jimmy Coleman finishes in the 5th position. There's, I was wondering if he was going to be here. Got some people hanging out down here in the waiting room, and we talked to everybody up in the top 5. And the one that we didn't talk to is Justin Mons, who finished in the 4th position. Justin running the McConey sim shop, their setup shop, paint scheme on their car. But Justin, it wasn't easy for you, as you got in a little argument there with one of the walls early in this race that looked like it hurt the car, but you just fought back.
I'm actually surprised it didn't hurt the car at all. It hit just enough on the right side of the car that it didn't affect the temps or anything. That was my biggest worry. But yeah, I went into the bus stop there, and I suck on new tires.
Don't we all?
And I knew it was going to happen at some point. I didn't expect it to happen in the bus stop because I've been very consistent there all throughout this week. But it happened in the bus stop. I completely botched the turn into the bus stop, and I tried to recover on the exit, and I dipped a tire off, and I went for a ride.
Yeah, I was going to say that was an issue we noticed a lot of people having during practice. It seemed like the last two portions of that bus stop, if you were to either bottom out the diffuser maybe or something like that on the back end of the car on the rumble strip or whatever, or just hit it right, it seemed to send your car packing.
Oh yeah, my actual case was I absolutely launched the car on the right side, and like my tires came off the ground. And when it landed, it just spun. There was no saving. I'm just glad I didn't wrap Parker into that because he was right on my behind throughout that entire section. But
well, Justin,
yeah,
I
recovered it.
I have one quick question for you, man. You've got that sponsorship from Maconi on there. You run some official races with them?
I do. From time to time. I don't do as much as I would love to, but it's just I always seem to catch them at the wrong time. But I do from time to time.
I got you. Well, look, man, you made it look really, really easy out there. There was a point in time when if you got your right side tires off the ground, it wasn't that big of a deal. But man, watching you do that tonight was kind of scary a little bit,
Yeah, to try and match those lap times that those top three boys were laying down, you had to do something. And I was full sail. Like, I was very confident going into the bus stop, and like all the way through the carousel, I was very confident in that section. So when I tell you I was mailing it into the bus stop, I was full sending it.
You know what? You just lead me to a point. Now, I'm thinking about this as you say that, because when I run this track, I'm not a road racer. Let's put it like that. I try to run these endurance races and all that stuff, and the key word here is try. But Watkins Glen can be so misleading because when you go through, you come out of the S's, you come up that straightaway, and I say it to this day, you have to use the curve on the right side, and almost as a launch pad, if you will, to get into the S's or to the bus stop to set up that corner. And it's very easy, and help me with this. It's got to be the same way for you. It makes it so easy to gain confidence to just literally downshift one, which I don't know how much downshifting you were doing with this car into that corner, but I know the old car, you would go fourth gear, third gear, fourth gear, third gear to second gear as you were leaping over that curve.
I was in second gear.
There you go.
Over the curb.
So, but the confidence there, it's so easy to mislead you to say, hey, I'm going through it, and just launch off it.
Well, that's what led to my lap 3 incident. I missed the line by a half a car width, and I tried to chase it and recover it on the exit, and that's the result of it, as I spun and hit the wall.
Hey, John, guess what I found?
What?
His accident. Here's exactly what he's talking about.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah, watch the right tires. They launch.
Oh, yeah, right there.
I was watching Josh. Josh showed a nose on the straight. And and I went in there a little harder than I needed to, and I was paying more attention to him than my line, and I missed the line.
Let's actually go. Let's go chopper here. We'll slow mo it here. But yeah, so yeah, you've got the line right here. It's easy to be single file. You want to go like this is that curve. It's so easy. Like it's so like you want to not hit that blue wall, but it's like right there for you. Hop over that curve. And then right here, if you don't hit this corner right, it just throws your whole entire lap off. You can see right there, you're already starting to lose the back end.
Yep. The problem was I wasn't close enough to that right-hander wall. That's where I missed it. I had to be closer.
Looked like you're maybe carrying too much speed too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was about probably 5 miles an hour faster than I needed to be.
Parker's hot probably just stopped right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. He was right there.
One of many times.
I let it roll into the wall instead of trying to stomp the brake.
Right.
And you're telling me you had no damage on that right front?
That's shocking.
I promise you, I had 0 temp damage. I had some fender damage, but it did not affect any of the speeds. Hell, I ran my fastest lap,
I can't
around lap
believe
30
you didn't
something.
break the spindle or something, man. That's
Oh,
crazy.
you want to talk about being lucky? Yeah. As soon as I got straight, I'm expecting that right side to flap like a fish out of water.
Do you
And,
drive with the force feedback on?
Oh yeah.
Let go.
Bro, that hurts when you break that right front or the left front, and that thing starts kicking the wheel around. Oh, buddy.
Oh, I was worried, but once I got going straight, and I was like, hey, it's not rumbling, and it's holding a line. And I was like, all right, let's go. Then I started ripping, 111 sevens, 112 flats, and I'm like, okay, there ain't nothing wrong with this car. And I was watching the temps, making sure they weren't climbing. They stayed stable. I was like, let's go.
That's just amazing. When you hear that kind of thing, it's like, because you think of, was it tie rod that everybody's been talking about for this season? It's like the word of the season. Tie rods
Yeah, the
on
toe
his car,
links.
or toe links or whatever. And, so I wonder how much misleading it is that Watkins Glen is like one of the, if not the only track that has Armco barriers all around it. So how much that played a role potentially in not damaging the front end more in that kind of situation, where if that's, say, a hard wall or a tire barrier or something, it might be a whole nother deal.
Yeah, I think I got it woed up enough to where it minimalized the opportunity for it to, and I think the angle that I hit it more towards the front than I did on the tire. So I feel if I was more straighter and then I made contact with the sidewall of the tire to it, then I probably would have had problems.
Wow. Well, great job tonight, man. Finishing fourth. We'll let you go on what you're doing, but give some shout out to whoever you like to, buddy.
Oh yeah, as you stated earlier, McConey Setup Shop. Thank you for their sponsorship and their friendship with Jeff McConey. Also, Gamer Advantage, Tango Paints for all my iRacing paints, and NASCAR Sammy for his autism awareness campaign. I'm a big supporter of that.
Absolutely, man. Well, great job tonight. Congratulations on your top 4 finish here. We'll see you next week in Daytona.
Oh yeah, home track. Got to show up.
Oh, that's 2 of us. What part?
I'm in Jacksonville.
Okay. A little more.
I spent some time in their jail.
There's a random fact. What?
I'm just saying. I was in the Navy up in Mayport, and they don't like us. They don't like us Navy guys up there, man.
Mayport, I can tell you some things.
Oh boy.
So, we have to get. Hey, I got the beer. I'll see you at the bar.
See you there. Cheers.
Yeah, you too. Great job tonight, man.
Appreciate it, fellas.
Yeah, you too. Justin Vaughn's finishing in the 4th position. Oh boy. See, I was on the other side. I was down like Vero Beach, Melbourne. What would be closest to us, I guess, base wise? Patrick Air Force Base is near us.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know where that's at. Yeah.
Yeah. So played some youth football in that area for a little bit. So, anyways,
if I recall correctly, we actually had to go down and truck one of our jets back from down there.
Probably.
They had a malfunction of some sort of taking off, so they emergency landed down there, and I guess they trucked it back up on the back of a flatbed semi because they couldn't fly it back.
I bet that was an interesting ride up 95. All right, let's bring in Mr. Kelly here. Kelly, Mike had some interesting battles here this evening. You end up with a 6th place finish for you, Mike. Talk about your race a little bit. I know you had some fighting out there and even had the fun time going backwards on pit road.
Hey guys, what's up? Hey, thanks for having me in here. Yeah, 6th place, 1 lap down. Wow, that's humiliating.
Right? Oh, come on now. Give yourself some credit. You only run like 2 road courses a year.
Yeah, well, I'm a road course guy, but I mean, I held my own pretty good. I mean, I was only like half a lap behind 2nd place, but yeah, Daniel comes buzzing by me there at the end, and I mean, I look down and I'm still running like 2/10 off my qualifying lap, and I'm like, Jesus, how fast is he going?
You don't want to know, trust us.
No, I'm like, he's got to be running like 110s.
That's exactly what he was running. Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, it was a good race. I definitely needed a good finish here going into Daytona. I've been precariously sitting on this zone of getting knocked out from a bad race, and every week I just can't get a good race. I run up front the whole race, and then something stupid happens, and I end up with a bad finish. And I think I may have locked myself in tonight. And but a new guy, Joseph
Grijalva,
yeah, Grijalva. Talking to him, I was like, boy, I saw that new guy behind me at the beginning.
Don't you
hit me. My luck's been going. I'm going into turn 1 and getting slammed into the fence. But no, And we ended up having a good race all race too. He really kept the pressure on me. I was wanting to just relax because I was feeling like I was in a pretty good zone there, and he just kept putting the heat on both runs. But something happened to him there at the end. I think he had a little issue, and finally at the end I was able to kind of relax a little bit. But he kept me on my toes the whole race.
He was a victim of a trick played on somebody basically when it was over with. Lack of a better way of putting it.
Yeah, you can say that's a very good way of saying it, Chris.
Yeah. He
thank whoever for that.
Elliot Henderson would be your probably winner, even though it wasn't his fault. Basically, you had a battle between him. It was Henderson and Beasley were battling for position. And you know how you do the old road course trick? You kind of poke your nose out and you kind of put yourself out of view. So then you're like, where's he at? And you miss your mark. Well, guess who was in front of Beasley who missed his mark? Grijalva.
Henderson?
Grijalva.
Oh, yeah.
He got murphed out of the way.
I had a few guys that, like, I was, I don't know, 7th or 8th, and I come up in there 19th or 20th, and I don't expect anyone to ever just get out of the way, but good Lord, I had some battles with lap cars tonight.
Sounds like you were doing one.
Real quick, Mike, I'm sorry, Chris. I didn't mean to step
No, you're
on
fine.
you.
You're fine.
I just want the story behind your profile picture here in Discord. Is that you?
Oh, yeah, that's me.
Are you wearing a mullet in that picture, sir?
No, there's no mullet. I'm not sure.
I got to see this.
I'll have to dig out the full-size one. I don't know if that's well, let's see there. I can't see it. It's so small.
Well, you're sitting inside of what looks like a red roll cage, and that might be a Butler-built seat, maybe? I can't tell.
Yeah, that's a Butler-built seat. That's my dirt late model I'm sitting in.
I was gonna say, if it wasn't for the shadow, it looked like you had chops.
It does. I'm looking at this picture. I'm like, that's Elvis down there. Who is that?
Nah, I just got a goatee and short hair there.
Okay.
It was actually blonde. Now it's silver.
Yeah, I feel you, brother.
No mullet. I tried to grow a mullet like when I was in high school in 1985, but didn't work.
Oh, so you and I are about the same age then.
I plead the fifth, and anybody under the age of 35 at the same time. So, hey, real quick, I am looking at the points right now, Mike. You're 18th. As you get past this, you and Mons are 1 point apart. You got 10 on Macklin, or 10 down from Macklin, who didn't race tonight. So, yeah, you're looking like you're in pretty good shape. You got, obviously, if you eliminate Nelson and you eliminate, what was the other driver off the top of my head? I can't, Byron Daly. Eliminate those two out from not making the playoffs here. It looks like, yeah, you're pretty much set.
Right. I think Wetzel's going to be on the outside looking in. Well, for me, I think I'm 55 ahead of him. That should pretty much make it okay for me.
So knowing that, what's your mindset going to Daytona next week?
Go win it, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking the way I'm looking at it was now I can go into Daytona and just run however I want. If I want back or for bonus points or run up front or whatever, I don't have to worry about it.
Oh, well, look, listen up, okay? I don't know if I'll be in the booth or on the track next week. If I'm on the track, I'll help you out for $20.
20.
Oh my God! Please be in the booth.
Oh, wait a minute! Ouch! Ouch, man!
I'm just kidding, man.
Oh.
But yeah, I'll need all the help I can get. I mean, all I got Scott. Well, I guess Nelson and Robert. You know, they're kind of a satellite team now. I don't know how much they'd help us out, but I'll take all the help I can get.
Here comes the whole Ford brigade. He's gonna have Axel Ford in his pit road waiting on him.
Yeah, Lord knows John can go through the pack in a super speedway race. So yeah, push away.
Well, I remember. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I've learned a lot, though, from Eric Arnold on how to get around. Because you know, Mike, you know me. I'm one of those guys. I used to run the back. I didn't like racing at plate tracks, but he showed me a thing or two.
Yeah.
Now, if I could just keep from inadvertently spinning you guys out when I try to bump you, we'll be golden.
I'm always looking for you and him in the third lane, no matter what.
Yeah, no kidding, right? What was it, Talladega last week in the Xfinity Series? I'm watching them two up top the whole time. I'm like, they're not going anywhere.
Well, that's the thing. It's not hard to do.
No.
As far as just getting up there and having the momentum. But when the cars start moving around and you get near that wall, it's a whole different ballgame.
No kidding. True story.
These cars move a lot, too, yeah.
Yeah, they do. Now, true story. I actually won the Daytona 500 this year on iRacing, the first NIS race in a in the next-gen car. And I do exactly what I do every single season. Sit in the back.
Well, congrats on that. I had no idea, man. That's you really, people really knock the NIS, but you really have accomplished something if you can even finish a plate track race there, much less win one.
Well, I guess I should say I finished top 5 at Talladega later on this season. So
just finishing that 500-mile day. I've tried it. It's hard. It
is hard. Trust me. There was one part. If I could show the replay, I would. There was one part of that race. I'm in like 3 wide, 6 rows deep with like 5 to go, and they wreck, and it was like everybody wrecked around me, and I was in a bubble, and didn't get touched. Yeah, no kidding.
The force was strong with you, Padawan.
I heard that. Right?
I'm the guy that gets hit by the very last car in the wreck sliding across the
10 minutes later, right? The arc breaker.
Yeah, that guy.
And ends up backwards.
Well, still, and I remember you from the Super Speedway series on Sundays a couple months back when we were doing that every week. It was the first time I was broadcasting a series with you guys. I remember plenty of times you were up there in the front battling with like Daniel and Pedro Mojica and Kevin DeBrown, who to me is the pusher, I guess, in that series because he pushes everybody pretty much through the pack. But hey, man, you got a chance to win it next week and really get yourself locked in. So that we wish you nothing but the best there, man.
Thanks. Yeah, side note on that season, that was like a magical season for super speedway racing. I think I did all 10 of those races and finished on the lead lap in everyone.
Wow,
that's a miracle right there, man.
No kidding.
10 super speedway races with no DNS, but I wasn't like the only one that did it. It was like 5 or 6 other guys. But anyway,
because I wasn't there. I'm just saying.
Thanks for having me up here
no
tonight,
problem.
guys.
Shout out to whoever you like to, bud. Give some shout outs.
Definitely special thanks to North Carolina 811 for being, coming with me. I'm the only one that's not in the Sim500 Mafia team that's got the sponsorship from them, so felt pretty honored to get the opportunity to carry their colors. Wish I could have done a little bit better job for them, but hey, if I make the chase, it's a whole new season, and hopefully I can, maybe win a race. I've not been able to win a race in this Monday series, so really want to be able to do that. Shout out to you guys for John's not coming on, but for you guys, Captain Esports, for coming on and doing this. I think that'll be a good show and a good time. And as always, thanks to all the admins and helpers at Sim500 and all the sponsors there for keeping this going. It's a good time.
I have a feeling you might hear from John a lot more. Just saying. Great job, though.
Oh, nice. Good deal.
See, he just wants to keep me off that track, so I'm not wrecking you guys. That's all it is.
Chris, what's your PayPal?
Well, it's kind of ironic because until this past week, I was actually going to run the Daytona race next week. But
well, why don't you guys just both come out and run it and announce while you're racing? I mean,
you don't want that.
That'd be horrible.
Do you not remember the Kyle Petty race on TNT a couple years ago when he was the in-race reporter and he left his mic on and he wrecked in turn 11? Do we not remember what came out of his mouth right then and there?
I remember that. Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, but no, great job, man.
Thanks, guys.
Hey,
we'll talk to you later.
You too, buddy.
Good night, Mike.
Mike Kelly finishing in the 7th position there. He's actually the best of all the North Carolina 811 guys. And by the way, if you have not, go watch that video on YouTube. It's pretty funny. Just all of a sudden, what spurts out his mouth. It's just
yeah.
All right. So true story about this guy. There was a series back, believe it or not, 10 years ago. A series called Nordgar that I raced in, and a bunch of us would race till almost every night till like 3 or 4 in the morning. And these special races called mystery races, and I'd have to get up and go do a radio show and yada, 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 me being a dumb young kid. And there was this young kid in his teens that raced there, and he unfortunately had some issues and didn't race there for a while. And all of a sudden I'm broadcasting one night, and he shows up in a league, and I'm like, he's still around? It was cool to see. And, we didn't really ever get a chance to talk. So then here tonight, he's in this race. And I think this is about to be the first conversation he and I have in those 10 years. But Joseph Grajova joins us. No longer a teenager, I assume. And Joe, good to see you again. Good to be racing with you. I see your dad cheering you on. And you had a pretty wild race there. And unfortunately fell victim of some tomfoolery there at the end of the race.
Hey, Chris, I'm glad to talk to you again. It's been a minute. I'm 29 now. So
there you go. How times have changed.
We're a ways from that now. Yeah, those races, or the Nordgar races, were still the most fun races I've had on my racing. and I probably ever will.
They were black and white, by the way.
Well, that brings up a great question I have for both you guys, Chris and Joseph. And answer how you will. How long have you guys been sim racing? I'll answer too. I've been racing since 1995, back with the Opel Pirate series. But how about you guys?
Joe, I'll let you answer.
I appreciate it. I started with iRacing in like 2011 or 12 or something like that. It's been like 9-10 years. But iRacing was my first go around. I grew up on a console, so this was really my first go here. About 10 years, I want to say.
I remember. I mean, I'm up there with Wortman on this one. I am. I remember being 5, 6, 7 years old, and Bill Elliott's NASCAR. The Kyle Petty game on Super Nintendo. I remember the Andretti racing game that had the sprint car, the Indy car, and the stock car. I remember that. Of course, the Daytona USA stuff. The oh gosh, what else was there at that time? Yeah, you mentioned the NASCAR racing Papyrus stuff. Oh gosh, I'm probably forgetting some other great games out there.
Gran Turismo, remember that one?
Yeah, Gran Turismo, of course, came out at that point, but there's like racing game wise when it comes to NASCAR. I mean, I go all the way back to Bill Elliott NASCAR. I mean, back in the 80s and 90s when there was 4 tracks to select from. It was Daytona, Talladega, Watkins, Glen, Sonoma. That was it. That was it.
That's great. That's nuts. I have one more question, and I'll get at you here. Joseph, what's your MOS, brother? I hear you're up there in the Army at Fort Polk.
Oh yeah, we're out here doing great things. You know how it is. I'm at 25 November. I'm in the Camo Corps.
I was a simple grunt, man. 11 Bravo, carried the M60. Like I said in the YouTube chat there, I grew up down here in South Louisiana, joined the Army to get out of the state, and they stuck me there. How happy do you think I was?
Oh, man. See, I was the opposite. I wanted to stay at home. I was trying to get Fort Bliss, and they stuck me across the country. But it seems like the Army does the opposite all the time, right?
Yeah, your concerns and worries and wishes and wants and desires do not matter to Uncle Sam, man.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you my MO? What I was in? I was in the.
What was that, Chris?
I was in the Lazy Kid first class.
I heard you aced your test scores on that too.
I went to BYU, Backyard University. I tell you, with flying colors. So
wait, you went to BYU and really? You're not joking? You went to BYU?
Backyard University.
Oh, okay. My bad. This is why John's brain should never be allowed to speak after 10 o'clock at night.
It's okay. Fair enough. It's all good. But no, hey, Joe, in all seriousness, though, tonight, though, great race, man. I saw you out there on track. You were definitely having a great race. I know, unfortunate deal there with Beasley, which you just were a victim of like I said, I call it tomfoolery, but I'm sure when you look at the replay, Elliott makes the move to the inside of Richard and probably distracts Richard enough. He misses his marks, runs into the back of you. Unfortunately, you lose the 7th spot to Dalton, but still to come out with a top 10 tonight, I mean, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, that was my goal, is to get by first corner, wreck no one, because I know we're at the end of their playoffs, and I'm the new guy here. I don't want to ruin nobody's chances. And then once we get strung out, just get what I can get. I was tracking down Kelly there. I think I would have got him or I'd have got to him. I don't know about passing him, but I'd have probably got close if the lap cars weren't between us. But after that, I was about 5-6 seconds back. I was trying to hold 7s. And then, I don't know what happened with the 10. I think that's who it was. It was a little frustrating, but I'm sure he didn't do it on purpose. He got me there at the end, and we just thankfully didn't hit nothing too bad and kept going.
Yeah, it was a great save on your part. But talk about what kind of goals you got here, because obviously being new to this league, you see they're pretty top-notch here. They got some great racers, put on some great races. What kind of goals do you have here for the last few races?
Really, it's just to let them playoff guys do their thing. Joey invited me the other day. He said I can race, so I'm gonna race. I'm not gonna, ride around. I'm here to race, otherwise I wouldn't be here. But I'm not gonna wreck no one or nothing. Do nothing dumb. But I do want to show that I can be up there with the fast guys as well, and we're gonna be definitely shooting for the playoffs next season. So I'll be around for a while.
Absolutely, man. Well, great job tonight. Give some shout out to whoever you like to.
Absolutely, Dad, sister. I think you saw them in the chat there. They're always watching every race all the time. We're racing almost every day now. Family, wife, and of course the sponsors on the car. They're following me around. Autolite friend. They're supporting my racing, and it may every little bit helps. So they're very I'm very thankful they're helping me do a hobby, basically what I love to do.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, I'm proud of you for what you're doing for this country, and I'm glad to see you doing what you're doing. Glad to see you still out here having some fun on the side. And we appreciate you taking time here, and obviously I look forward to seeing you out here on the track here for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. We'll hopefully put on a good show.
Sounds good, buddy. Be safe. That is Joseph Grjalva, who finishes in the top 10 this evening at the Watkins Glen Raceway. This officially, I think, has become the longest post race show I've ever done, and I'm totally cool with it. It's been fun.
It's been great.
Fun.
It really has.
So we still got 12 viewers watching us, which is so cool. I feel like I'm doing the podcast that I normally do on Sunday nights. I have a podcast to do with another league, which who knows might lead to one here. So, but what a great race it was. Let's wrap this thing up and head to the house. I know some of us have to work tomorrow, which I'm sure all of us do, but the race. Oh, that's a different kind of work. No, let's talk about the race itself here tonight. A lot of entertaining action. Obviously, Daniel ran off and did his thing, but we saw some great battles up front for second, for fifth. I remember like 3 or 4 car battles there. We had your driver there, Byron Daly, come all the way up through the field from 19th to finish second. We had some interesting wrecks out there, but a good debut, I believe, for this for the partnership of the Captain Esports Network and the Cup Series here for 811 and Sim500 here together.
I believe, Chris, the word you're looking for is phenomenal. This was a phenomenal start. It was a great race. It was not boring at all. Like you said, we had action. Even though Falkingham tried his best to put us all to sleep, we had action everywhere on the track tonight, and from some drivers that you wouldn't normally see mistakes happening from. And, just all around, I would give it a 2 thumbs up, sir.
I agree 100%. So for those with a sneak peek of Daytona, let me just put it to you like this. A week ago, we had the FEG Xfinity Series. And I kind of teased it a second ago. We had this gentleman right here next to me and his teammate literally ripping the boards the whole entire race 3 wide with 2 others. And I'm literally up in the booth pulling all 3 strands of the hair I have left on my head out. Like literally, what are they doing? It's so early in the race, but you know what? They held it together and it ended up being a wild finish. So wild, if you listen closely, I've already admitted it on the air. I actually choke at the finish line and had to literally shut my mic off as they crossed the line and cough my lungs out. Go back and listen. You'll hear it. And
it took everything Eric had to get me to do that with him, dude. I was terrified.
So next week is going to be wild in this next gen car because the draft package is different. It's not like any of the other cars. You literally have to get behind the other car and push it because if you get out of line anywhere, you feel that air. It's a very interesting car to drive. So I'm looking forward to putting that show on. And John likely will be in the booth here. I'm still working, putting the pieces together to the whole deal here. So we'll get that all figured out. But John, I appreciate you joining me tonight, man. Go get some rest, work on that physical therapy, continue to get better health there. And I appreciate what you did tonight. And we'll see you next Sunday at Homestead. How's that?
Buddy, I had a blast working with you tonight. I've always loved your broadcasts on the Sunday Night Crew. Even though, I suck, but that's cool.
Oh,
that's
come
on. But man, I am looking forward to whatever the road brings as far as your teaming up with the Sim500 guys on the Monday night series. I think it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be some great racing, some great viewership for the folks out there. And folks, make sure that whatever platform you're watching Chris on, be it Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, whatever it is, like, subscribe, and find that notification button to be notified when he goes live again. And buddy, thanks again for having me here.
No, absolutely, my pleasure. I appreciate all the viewers watching us here this evening. Thank you to North Carolina 811 for sponsoring the series and allowing us to be a part of this. Sim500, Joey and Jimmy and you guys, thank you guys very much. And it's just it's an honor to be able to do this. It's something that could easily be taken away from me tomorrow. And so that's why I'm always thankful to have all the viewers and all the sponsors and everybody that hangs around here. And I'm going to go down here and joke around with the guys here for a few minutes and do that. But, hey, John's heard it a few times or two. But as we go to leave, it's the quote that I always leave with because it's so true. A lot of people say this is just a game. It's not. It's not just a game. It's iRacing. See ya.